Mm-hmm.
We should be live here in just a second. Oh, there we go.
Holy fuckery. Hello, Beth. Hello, Comic Chop. Hello, Jason.
Yeah, we got some. Can you guys
hello,
hear
Lindsay.
us?
Can you hear?
Can you
check.
hear us? Cody, say
Yeah.
something. Come in, Mike.
Hello, everybody. Come in, Mike. Come on.
I'm getting my LAN cable. Okay.
Beth's comment made me laugh. Beth says, "Whoa, Lindsay grew a beard."
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you put Cecil in the Lindsay spot? Because that would be perfect.
I did.
For an equal amount of estrogen.
Even
Plugging
swap.
in my.
There we go.
There we go. Plugged in my LAN cable. There we go. So you guys can. Cody, say something. Cecil, say something.
Hello, everybody.
Something. Everybody can hear us. Okay, I think we're good. Loud and clear. All right, starting the intro. There we go. 10 moving parts. Okay.
Whoa.
It's not a real Scream stream without technical difficulty.
You shut your whore mouth.
This is great. 4 great reviewers in one place. Have another amazing daily. And Cody, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 years.
Right.
I don't know what the 4 great reviewers do.
I know there's only 3 I see.
Is there that many? I don't
How dare you?
Oh, he is vegan.
Oh, no, I see it. I'm an idiot. I'm the chat guy. I should know.
Not a spring stream, is that a brain fart or two? Hopefully
Yep.
Cody can veto some
Yeah.
of the Halloween wins.
Yeah,
I'll pull my man card on those.
if we're going by votes, I think we could veto it.
Yeah.
Michael Myers. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another Scream stream. I got... now, first off, Lindsay is having major technical difficulties, laptop issues. We tried to work it out. She says, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to join. So, Bryan is like comatose right now. So, we scurried, and I was like, who could come and join us? And Cecil. I thought of Cecil.
Cecil was the only one that answered the email.
He said, fuck you 3 times, and then immediately, you know.
Well,
said,
Lindsay's under the weather, too, so thoughts to her.
So,
Correct.
Lindsay, we hope you feel better. She said she
Right.
might be able to show up in the chat, so that'll be cool. But
Oh,
Feel better,
not
Lindsay.
feel
technical
better.
difficulties. My ass.
Also, congratulations to Emily from Emily's Adventures in Horrorland, who just passed 1,000 subscribers today, people. Golf clap. Yeah. That's awesome.
Hey, the talented person in this house finally can monetize.
We're sounding a little clearer, guys. You noticing that? I don't know. Maybe it's the awesome people in the chat. We got like Movie Freak 2000, Renegade Hero. What's up, Megan? Gary Sim, Jordan 1996, Brian Finger, Benzo Brain, the always wonderful Beth S. A lot of beautiful people in the chat. So thank you everybody for stopping by. Amanda from Aesthetic Star, I had to say hello to her.
Oh, Brian just chimed in on the chat, by the way.
Oh, he did. Okay. What's up, Brian? We love you.
No, he's awake.
as
No,
always.
like our chat, our private chat.
He's awake.
He's awake.
Yeah, he said, "What's going on, guys?" Question mark.
I called him to the.
Don't tell us.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. Why don't you text him and ask him if he wants to come in, and I'll keep rolling.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, guys, we're going to be doing the 2018 Killer Flicks Awards. This is the first annual. We came up with a list of 18 categories that we're going to be going down, much like the Oscars. If you look at the bottom center of your screen, you will see all the categories. Gonna be a lot of fun tonight. First off,
Is
Cecil,
it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, it'll be fun for one of us.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I got my purple shirt on for a reason. So,
Oh no, Bryan.
Certain fans will end up being pretty happy. We just put
Get
this
Bryan
aside.
Yeah, get Bryan in here. He's getting salty.
okay. All
He
right.
said, "Who the
He
fuck
wasn't-
is that in my chair?"
Everybody, stand by. Give us like 5 minutes. I'm gonna get Bryan in here, and we'll have 5 of us going at it. All right?
Well, are you going off? We could hold our own for now, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We've all seen Escape Room, so we could just buy time and talk about that. No?
Yeah. There we go.
Are you guys gonna? Yeah, you guys gonna talk
Lee?
while I get him in?
You're all right with that? We'll just Escape Room BS for a couple
Yeah.
minutes.
You
This
guys
is the
escape
first
room BS.
commercial break. You've seen
Yeah.
the Oscars.
Guys, you're getting an exclusive sneak peek at Escape Room while I'm getting Bryan in. Cecil, have you seen it yet?
Oh yeah, we saw it about a month and a half ago at a really early screening, actually.
Do you still remember it?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I actually I had pretty similar thoughts to all of you guys, actually. Well, less so for you, Lee. You didn't like it quite as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
I at least I had fun with it. That's the thing. It wasn't the deepest movie, but I did enjoy it. I thought the ending was a garbage ending that we've gotten in 5 different movies previous to it. But outside of that, I actually had fun. I had fun with the set design. I had fun with the production value. I had fun with the fact that for a PG-13 horror, it didn't really stick out to me that they were PG-13 kills. So I thought that was actually a feather in its cap compared to other PG-13 horror movies.
That's a good point. I think we talked about that the other night. It didn't feel like it didn't stick out the PG-13ness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I had fun with it.
I'm showing Bryan is like I can't call him for some reason. Let me see if I can. It won't let me call him. I'm trying.
Oh,
Yeah, I
keep talking, I'm
I
working.
thought the biggest thing that they did well was the biggest thing that they needed to do well which is execute that whole escape room concept and have fun with it. Which I did have fun with it. I think they blew their wad in the third room because after that it never really got back up to that again. But
third room is that the ice?
The pool hall. The
pool hall was the best part.
Yeah, because right after that was the defibrillator, and then right after that was the we're high as fuck and we have to find the needle. So I like that. I hated pretty much every single character except for Karen Page. Well, hated's a strong word, but maybe 2 characters I couldn't have cared less about, and 3 of them I hated. I hated the rich guy. I didn't like the guy that was like the down and out grocery boy. The girl who ends up kind of becoming your main focus for the most part, who's like really soft spoken, she was starting to get annoying for how like you're still reserved as fuck in this life threatening situation. It just didn't make sense. But aside from that and some dialogue, I just had fun with it. I didn't hate the ending as much as everybody else, but it definitely was a cheap ending saying, please let us have a sequel. Come on, guys.
Well, it just felt so rushed, like the.
It felt like it ended 5 times. Like,
yeah. There was that. Was it you, Cecil, that called it the Dark Knight Rises ending when they were sitting?
Yeah, it did. It had the Dark Knight Rises ending for sure.
Return of the King ending.
I said, see, I was just waiting for them to look over and see Alfred at a table of a couple of
I liked the Trish character.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Zoe. I'm sorry. I liked Zoe. I thought she was a good, I guess, lead character. I was rooting for her quite a bit. I think she got a little bit overzealous there at the end.
Is that the mousy girl?
Yeah. She was really, the introvert. She's the one that had the most, the biggest character arc, I think, throughout the whole thing. But
well, yeah, they gave you like 3 backstories that was way more than you can ask for in a fucking January horror movie, at the very least.
yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, for a January horror movie, it's really good.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the Devil's Due territory right here. So let's.
Yeah, we could have had Resident Evil 9 right now, but thankfully we didn't.
Exactly.
Good job, Sony.
Oh, I think I have the wrong. Okay, hold on. I think I can get Bryan in here.
Oh, I have the wrong Brian Lomax.
We'll have that fucking trailer park guy from CP's stream last night show up. Whoa, wrong one.
Oh,
Oops.
brother,
Yeah, what did you continue? What started the other night? Is that what happened?
we were trying to squash it, Cecil, and then somebody just kept coming in. And I don't know. I like horror trolls way more than I like Blu-ray trolls because
Oh God.
I don't know. Horror trolls just tell you your opinion. Nothing. That's it. That's all there is to it. Your opinion sucks. Go fuck yourself. All right. Well. Thanks.
And Blu-ray trolls aren't that way?
No, they're like, I know you live at 741 Main
Holy
Street.
Jesus.
And your fucking wife's favorite color is blue and blah.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. It's a lot creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring my light down just a scotch. I'm a little bright.
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, let's all just work out our technical kinks right now because
So I just
wow, that
added
chair's
Bryan.
weathered.
Yeah, it is.
Cecil, time for a new.
Bryan.
I see.
Here
I
he
see
comes.
something.
Okay. So let me.
Here we go.
BV has joined. There's a BV in a circle.
Yeah.
Well, to kill the dead air until Bryan gets framed up and everything, how psyched is everybody for Glass?
Pretty. There he is.
There he is.
Bryan,
We love you.
can you hear him?
He's stuttering bad on my end.
I can't even hear him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's not.
Yeah, I mean,
Bryan,
Yeah,
can you say something? Oh, he's frozen.
Use Morse code,
There
Bryan.
he goes.
Sound a bit broke.
Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Did you see where Alamo Drafthouse accidentally posted a $200 ticket for to watch all 3 of the Glass films a week early, and it sold out in like 15 minutes, and they were like, whoops, that was not a real thing.
wow.
But somebody reposted it. They were like, the fact that people are willing to pay $200 for a Shyamalan trilogy right now is pretty awesome.
Shemalamathon.
Shemalamathon.
Bryan, we can see you. Your sound is completely off
I'll be
the
right
ass.
back.
Hey, all right. So I'll leave when Bryan's ready.
Connection.
He's got his dressing gown on. That's what the British call a robe.
So, have you guys reviewed Unbreakable and Split yet?
Look who you're asking.
I think we reviewed Split. We didn't get around to reviewing Unbreakable, but we were planning on doing Shamuary.
Yeah.
Where we're going to review all of them. So.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Did you come up with that name?
Yes, we did.
Painful.
Shamuary, baby. I'm painful. You just
It's
wish
all
you
right.
thought of it.
It's all right. I said none too pleased in my countdown, so who the fuck am I?
That's very true.
Copy of order.
Bryan, try speaking. Oh, man, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm not hearing Bryan at all.
Unfriended 3. Yep.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Breaking up. Totally breaking up. Internet connections are crap.
I heard internet connections crap. That's what I heard.
Me too. It let that through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet's like, oh, yeah? Glass is going to be great, but there's something that comes out in between then. What comes out this weekend? This
That
upcoming
Keanu Reeves movie that I didn't even know was fucking coming out. It's like, I don't know what the hell it's called, but I saw like half of a trailer at breakfast this morning.
I'll check it out.
Is it about him and some other person that looks like him or something, or some theme like that?
Something like that, yeah.
I think my uncle has it already. I think
Oh, yeah?
I think it's one of those.
Replicas. That's it. Somebody already put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's already out there.
We did a reaction to that. It looked okay.
I had no idea what the hell it was until I saw Keanu Reeves Replicas in January, whatever, 14th or something. I was like, wait, what? Doing that John Wick thing. Just tell us right before we walk in the theater, hey, this movie's out.
When does John Wick 3 come out?
Summertime, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Look at the chat on the nose. Replica. Yep. John Wick 3. No, Gary. No points awarded. Cloning.
Well, I got Bryan boxed in and everything. I still can't hear him or anything.
Yeah.
You guys looking forward to us? No, we never look forward to the chat, to be honest with you, Renegades. So, so thank you. I was like, please, somebody get the joke.
That's Bryan's most anticipated film of 2019.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then he left. That's how much he couldn't take it. He just left.
If somebody mentioned us, he's like,
oh, we're talking about us.
I'm not even signing off. Fuck you.
Oh,
You guys get an empty window.
Yeah.
So he left. So I wonder if he's gonna come back to fix it. You guys want to get started with the nominations, and we'll let Bryan try to work out his issues and see if he can chime in.
Sure, why not?
Sure. I mean,
It's your rodeo, brother.
Halloween from anybody's voice. Really gonna.
Well, I guess just to explain ourselves, what we did was, first off, Robbie Sobel, got to give him a shout out, on Killer Flicks. He came up with this idea like about a week ago, and he was like, hey, why don't we do like a Killer Flicks Awards? And then cool. I think Cody like mentioned it in the chat with us, and we were like, yeah, that's actually a great idea. It could be a lot of fun. And so the Scream Stream, we all put together these categories of like 18 categories, and this just could be a lot of fun to, best kill, best end scene, best and worst horror movie, stuff like that. But like I said, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see all the categories. And the way we're going to do this is I'll start with Cecil, since he's at the top right of your screen.
Sorry,
he's gonna get best newcomer, and he's gonna go to Killer Flicks, and he's gonna list off the nominees, and then we'll list the winner.
I'm gonna need somebody to read the categories on my behalf because I have the chat loaded. So when it's my turn, I need somebody to read for me.
Okay, not a problem.
And I am scrolling for newcomer.
Maybe the top one.
Hey, yeah.
Hint, it's Halloween.
Let's see. Okay, so
If you go to announcements, it should be the very top one because it's the most recent. It was this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question, Grave. We'll get to that eventually, maybe, because this was supposed to be a top 3, bottom 3 of 18 show, but
we might get to it. Who knows how long this is going to take? It might go very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Halloween. Yeah. All right, top 3.
All right. So here we go. The first nominee is Andy Matichak for Halloween 2018, of course.
Yep.
The second nominee would be Millicent Simmons from A Quiet Place. Next, we have Millie Shapiro from Hereditary, followed by Bailey Madison from The Strangers Pray at Night. And then, of course, we've got Madeline Brewer from Cam. And last, but certainly not least, Graham Verschier from The Summer of '84, or Summer of '84. Know that.
And who do we have for a winner, Cecil?
Well, surprisingly enough, the Killer Flicks Award goes to Andy Matichak from Halloween 2018.
Yeah, there we go. I guess I'll go first. I really liked Andy Matichak. Somebody actually mentioned in the chat too that this is going to be. There's going to be people that don't really like Andy Matichak, but they're going to vote anyway because it's Halloween. I would hope not, but I will say this. I think she was great in the role. I didn't find her annoying at all. Is she as strong an actress as, some of the other nominees? Probably not. But, when you're doing the People's Choice, you're going to get like a little popularity thing in there. I liked her, though. I'm not upset that Andy won.
Of course not.
Yeah. Cody, who did you vote for?
I voted for Bailey Madison just because, she's the most experienced of anybody on the list, and I liked her quite a bit in Strangers Pray at Night. But I strangely enough, I don't have any problem with Andy winning because she was one of my favorite parts of the movie. When I walked into Halloween 2018, I kind of expected the torch to be passed to her at some point in the film. Before the movie even came out, I was like, oh, that's going to be our new Laurie going forward. And so the movie, I was like really concentrating on her. Like, okay, do I like her? Am I cool with her carrying the franchise? And obviously they didn't go that route, spoiler alert, but I really liked her. I liked her character. I thought she did good. So I'm cool with her winning that award.
Yeah. I actually voted for Bailey Madison too. When I first saw Strangers Pray at Night back in February, I was freaking over the moon. And one of the things I mentioned was Bailey Madison and her brother in the movie. I thought they both did. Their chemistry together was really strong. But in the end, Bailey Madison, that whole scene where she's like running from the truck and the fire. I mean, that's everything that I want in a final girl. She's got the shotgun. By the way, guys, there will be spoilers in this, so beware. But yeah, I mean, her brother kills one of them, and then she kills, I believe, the other two. So I mean, I think she earned as the winner. I think she should have won. But Cecil, I don't know if you voted or not, but out of those nominees, do you agree with Andy Matichak?
I don't. No.
Yeah.
I did vote in everything, but with this one, I wasn't the biggest Andy Matichak fan in Halloween. I thought that she was just kind of okay. She wasn't as annoying as a lot of young protagonists we get nowadays are, but she really didn't do anything for me. She certainly didn't strike the same chord that Jamie Lee Curtis did back in the day. Meanwhile, I had to give it to Millicent Simmons because, quite honestly, outside of the fact that she did a great job playing, first off, she's an actually deaf actress, a deaf girl playing a deaf character, which some people might be like, well, she's just being herself. Yes and no. Like, that's got to be a supremely hard thing to do, not necessarily credibly, but to do that job as a deaf actress.
That third act stuff, too, is pretty impressive.
The third act stuff is amazing. But yeah, exactly. And to be able to do as well as she did and glean as much as she must have needed to from the director in order to achieve the performance that she did, that's just a harder working actress than Andy Matichak running from Michael Myers, in my opinion.
Yeah, and to that point, when you think about it, it's got to be a bitch for a director, even if you're fluent in sign language, to be able to say, like, if she just needs to be a little bit higher in voices, like, all right, just do it a little bit like this. You can't really express that, you know what I mean? So it's, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
there's not really anybody. There's not really anybody on this list that wouldn't deserve the award if they won.
I think they all have their strengths. Even the girl in Hereditary, and that's a very young actress, and just a really creepy performance by her. And she's doing that little cluck thing. I don't know. I thought she was pretty deserving as well. If she would have won, I would have been happy.
Brian, how's your penis? I just doubled Cecil's sentiment. I think I voted the same way Cecil did, and for basically every reason Cecil just said. So
yeah.
So there. How about that for vanilla?
Bryan, let's give you a shot. You got everything good?
Bryan, you here? Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
I think your internet might want you to take a nap too. Your internet feels bad for you.
Yeah. Is Bryan having internet problems? I mean, is that what he said?
He said something about his internet.
Yeah, internet's really slow for him, I think, because it's coming through really choppy with his audio.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bryan.
Yeah. We love you.
Shit happens. Bryan, I will express all of your anger every time something wins that shouldn't. I'll change my tone.
Yeah, I know.
I'll put on the accent.
Bryan had a lot of heated opinions about this whole thing too. This would have been really good. So
I was kind of hoping he was going to be the shield to get behind too.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it.
I'll do my best to try and represent the non-Halloween audience.
Lee's on an island here. That's kind of the moral of the story.
What if he remember one time we did this with Lindsay? We told her to shut off her computer and she restarted it, and then that fixed her problem.
Oh yeah, are you Wi-Fi, Bryan? Why don't you just flip the switch on the router?
I am done.
Oh. Okay.
Wait, you sounded like you started clearing up there a little bit. Say something.
It does it. It'll let them have about 3 seconds, and then.
Oh.
Say something bad about the government, quick.
Yeah. Say something bad about Get Out. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on to the next.
Big gulps, huh?
Yeah, big gulps. Cool.
Sorry, Bryan, I love you.
We love you, Bryan. God damn, we love you. Okay. We'll go to the next one. We're gonna do best scene. Cody, you want to take this one?
Sure, why not? Let me scroll down. Let me see what we got here. All right. So, we got a lot of options too. Yeah, we got quite a few nominees for this one. So, best scene in a horror film in 2018. Our nominees are the pool scene in Strangers Pray at Night, the bathtub scene in A Quiet Place, the Say Something opening to Halloween 2018, the scene where Michael reunites with his mask in Halloween 2018, Mother's Possession in Hereditary, so the final act, Mr. Mackey Will Return, so the ending of summer of '84, the opening of A Quiet Place, the plane scene in Overlord, and the birth surprise in Bird Box.
Ooh.
I don't know if I read all those.
A lot of good ones there.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this many, so I don't think I clicked the 4 other options button at the bottom. I was like,
yeah.
Oh. So, yeah. Well, the Killer Flicks Award, goes to the pool scene in Strangers Pray at Night.
Man, I'm so glad that scene won. You know, I think when people talk about Strangers Pray at Night, it seems like most of the time they talk about the pool scene, just because of just how it looks. It's just lit so well, and then it's just so intense. You know, with it starts off at the around the pool, and then all of a sudden they both fall into the pool, and the music playing in the background with Bonnie Tyler. There's just so many elements that come together to make that scene work, I think. So I was glad that one won. That's the one I voted for. That's the one I was rooting for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, that is the standout scene in Strangers Pray at Night. I wasn't as over the moon about the movie as a whole as you were, but I liked the scene pretty much on the same level as you. It was very cool. My vote went to the bathtub scene in A Quiet Place. I was blown away at what Emily Blunt did in that scene.
Oh, yeah.
I even thought she really held her own against Toni Collette, who's kind of the fan favorite for Oscars this year. With what she was able to do, just the pain she was able to convey, and the tenseness of that scene of this monster going around. And anybody that's been there while their wife or girlfriend is giving birth, that is not a quiet event. That is, that's not something that you just kind of, everybody lights a candle and just waits for the baby to pop up. It's fucking chaos. They're screaming sometimes. It's crazy. So that whole scene, the tenseness of it was what earned my vote. But a lot of really good ones here.
Pretty much, if you want to make a scene intense, just throw a pregnancy in there.
Yeah, no shit.
There's 2 of them.
Pretty much the same exact thing with the birth surprise, only there's 2 of them. So,
Cecil, would you have picked the pool scene?
No, I actually went with the bathtub scene as well.
Nice.
I was one of the people that I'd heard so much about the Strangers Pray at Night by the time I got around to seeing it, and specifically the pool scene, that by the time it rolled around, I was like, that's what everyone's so excited about.
That's why I got Cecil.
It's a guy on the side of the pool, and then they're in the pool, and I've seen someone go after someone in water before, so I don't quite understand why everyone is so obsessed with that scene. But the bathtub scene was, genuine horror. I'm a huge creature guy. I had, I think, 4 creature movies on my top 10 list of 2018. So, take this with a grain of salt. But yeah, when there's a pregnant woman having to stifle herself and move quietly with an injured foot while a horrifying creature is creeping after her, only to be saved by fireworks. That scene was really, really tense. And, the pool scene, I was just waiting. I'm like, is he going to die? Isn't he going to die? The bathtub scene, I was like, oh my God, is she going to die or isn't she going to die? Mm-hmm. Like, that's sort of the difference to me.
CP, what about you?
Yo, I need to hear, I didn't vote for what I definitely didn't vote for this, but what was the scene before and or after the Overlord scene?
Opening to A Quiet Place.
That would have been it. That would have been it. If not, it's almost like a tie for me, because that plane scene in Overlord is If it's not horror, it's really good for a war movie, because holy shit,
really good
it
for
goes
a sound
off.
system too.
Oh, I can't wait to get that on absolutely. It's kind of comparable to Edge of Tomorrow, if anybody's seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when shit starts going south for him. And if not that, then the opening scene of A Quiet Place. I remember watching that at a premiere, and half of Paramount's reps were there, and everybody. It was like, oh, they're going places with this movie, and it was neat. It was a neat experience. It was a neat theatrical experience. Grab you by the balls and say, hey, nobody's off limits here.
Yeah, for sure. One scene I'd like to talk about real quick before we move to worst scene is the scene in Bird Box. That was pretty much the moment, because up to that moment I was like, this movie's really interesting. And then that was the one that like punched me in the gut, like, holy shit, this is intense.
Oh yeah.
Because you got not one but two women giving birth, and then you got the stranger danger dude walks in, and he just starts like opening the windows and going, look at this, look at this, look at this, and just, oh my god, I was freaking out during that scene. And then seeing Olympia, her eyes just like start glazing over, and then she runs and jumps off. That scene was just intense, crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that out of my system.
I wasn't the biggest fan of that scene personally. I didn't understand why she didn't just close her eyes.
Well, I think
before,
that the creature,
she was still
like,
kind
grabs... Go ahead, Cody.
She was still kind of coming down from the shock of having a natural birth, so she just kind of happened to turn her head, and the dude wasn't really making a huge scene about it.
No,
he just started opening shit. So as soon as she looked,
hey, check this out.
Yeah, he was
inviting.
Yeah,
yeah. Think fast.
It's beautiful. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at this. You know?
No, show the baby. Show the baby.
It's
let the baby see.
The creature is kind of seductive in Bird Box, which I thought was so genius about it. It's not like
what creature?
They actually refer to it as creature not once but twice in the movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's an entity.
I'd have banged it.
You would have banged it?
What? Is that what you
said? You said it was seductive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Editing is crap. I don't. All right.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Bird Box fan myself, but
The editing?
Of course you weren't.
how dare you? What does that
Listen,
mean?
we always have to have one.
Gotta have one.
One antagonist in this group. So
Hey, Cecil, most of the time it's just me and everybody else against me, so that's okay.
it hasn't been
I'll
you
gladly
lately.
fill that spot.
I'll be right back.
It's been Bryan. It's been.
No, with that specifically, I've just always been a show don't tell guy. So I don't watch movies to have to imagine what's scary.
Yeah.
I watch movies for them to show me what's scary. If I want to imagine what's scary, I'll read a book. You know what I mean?
And
Fair
show
enough.
don't tell.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you about a horror movie that we shall not ever talk about ever again. Show don't tell. Who's hungry for ice cream?
Don't
I
you
still
do it.
haven't seen that. I feel like I should, just based on
If you don't
lore.
like show, but if you don't like tell, don't show. You're.
There's a few people that like it.
None
None of them are in here except for me, but yeah. there's a few that-
I'm saying go ahead and watch it and make your own mind up. I certainly am no authority figure on opinions. Make your own mind up.
All right.
And Cody's gone.
Cody left. Okay. CP, do you want me to read worst scene?
Yes, please. Oh, worst scene.
Worst
Please.
scene. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go over here. So.
That can't be Halloween. There's no way it's Halloween.
I'm not gonna say anything yet.
Oh, it absolutely has to be. Give
here we go, I
Halloween
got it.
one negative award.
Which one are we doing? Sorry, I'm back.
Worst scene.
Worst scene.
Worst scene. Okay.
Go ahead, take a shot, Renegade.
I have thoughts on this.
Hold on. I'm gonna read it. Okay, here we go. Okay, worst scene. The nominees are Sartain Mask scene from Halloween, Dirt Face from Truth or Dare. What the fuck that was about? Girls Go Back in the Woods, Slender Man.
Didn't see it.
The ending of Bird Box, and Mother Dies from Strangers Pray at Night. And the winner is the Sartain Mask scene from Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have voted there. I might have
did.
that.
You did. Your face is right here staring at me.
It's always.
We conveniently did not.
You know what? I'll say I don't agree with that. It's not. That is the worst. One of the worst parts of the movie. But among these choices, I got to go with Dirt Face from Truth or Dare. I'm sorry if a scene, that scene it happens not once but multiple times throughout the movie, and every time it does, I lose my mind. If a horror, that's the signature thing in the horror movie that's supposed to scare the audience, and that one thing is what ruins the movie, and it does it over and over and over again. So I think the Sartain mask thing is just, it's such a crazy move. It's a twist, and it's a twist that a lot of people didn't like, and I think, so I think that's why it won. But
I'll say, go ahead, Cody.
This would be my argument against that. I totally agree that face is fucking stupid, but you're derailing a movie that's not very good in the first place. The Sartain mask scene, there's a lot of people who are totally on board with Halloween until you get to that scene, and it derails that level of the movie for them. So to me, it's the disparity from how good the movie is to how much that scene fucks with that.
Yeah.
Right.
And how unearned it was.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like I don't know what I have it at, 3.5 or 4 stars. You take just that second, that little scene out of the movie, it jumps up to a 4.5 to me. That scene totally takes so much away from me in that movie. Mm-hmm. You don't need that scene in that movie. You really
I agree
don't.
with that. He didn't have to put that mask on. I think my thing is, if he would have, not that he put the mask on, but if he would have kept the mask on throughout the rest of the movie, then I would have been like, fuck this movie, I'm done with this. But
Emily wanted that. Emily wanted to see him just keep it on and have him be the proxy killer. And I'm like, man, you don't know slashers at all. You know,
oh my God.
Please don't leave with me.
This would no longer be the Halloween Awards.
People would lost their fucking mind.
Yeah, he had the mask on for like all of a split second, and then he took it off. He put it on because he wanted to feel like it, and he kind of set himself up for it before he did it by saying, I want to know what it's like to kill somebody. He literally told that to Hawkins. So when I watched this the second and third time, the mask scene didn't bother me as much. The first time it did, I was like, whoa, did he just put on that mask? But it doesn't ruin the movie for me, so I know it ruins the movie for a lot of people, though.
It didn't necessarily ruin the movie for me, but that whole scene to me is like eye roll. Like from the point, like losing the character of Hawkins sucks, and the coming out of absolutely nowhere with the Killer Sartain thing is the first time at least is like a brick in the face, and then you have like the whole scene where the camera's just fixated out there, and he just stands up. He's got the Myers mask on his little short, stocky body,
like, what the
and then he's pulling Michael Myers, that big motherfucker, with one arm. Make room for my patient in the back seat. And then he puts him back there and then throws the mask in. It's like, what the fuck was the point of any of that? And then he dies right after that. So whatever the hell you were trying to earn, I've said my piece on it.
I was not a fan of that. The movie itself I actually really enjoyed it. It made it onto my top 10 list, but it was definitely lower than it could have been, and that was a big contributing factor. There was a few others too. Hootie Greer, excuse me. But outside of that,
it's Judy Greer.
I don't know what you mean. I just coughed.
The thing we didn't do worst actress.
But here and allow me to take a controversial stance that'll probably get me a lot of shit from the comments. I'm going to defend Derpface just a little bit.
Oh my God!
Yes, it's silly that they used a Snapchat filter as their
Bryan.
But I have always said that one of the scariest things in horror to me is an elongated mouth. Yes, usually when the mouth drops open in order to eat you, that scares the crap out of me. But the reason I actually found it kind of unnerving when I saw it was because it's that shit-eating grin aspect where, like, they have you. You're going to answer this truth or dare question, and you're going to either do it the way the game wants it, or you're out. Yeah. And the fact that it's like a grin of knowing, and whether you want it or not, you're out of luck, and you have to answer. Like, to me, I actually didn't mind it for that reason. That's the way I looked at it. It actually seems like a solid connection.
For Bryan, me in a horror movie, I'm about the visual. And
it was the dressing gown, Bryan.
That's such a big part of that movie, and I'm a big thing of like proponent of not liking CGI. I hate CGI in movies. I don't mind it for creatures. I mean, there's some amazing CGI out there, so let me explain myself. But when they CGI people, that's when it starts getting a little weird for me, especially with horror. And it didn't bother you, Cecil, and it didn't bother some people, but it completely ruins the movie for me, because I actually like the premise of Truth or Dare, actually. I think it could, if they would have taken those people and didn't do like a CGI thing, but instead used actual practical effects and made them scary, because, hey, we've seen so many examples of, like, say, The Exorcist, where they can make a face scary as fuck. But for some reason, they said, hey, let's take the easy way out, and let's give it this CGI face that not only, one, looks fake, but two, looks completely fucking stupid.
The Aphex Twin video.
That's what kills
it. The Daddy video.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hi, Bryan.
Hi.
All right.
It was your robe the whole time. Your robe was making the connection all funky. Excuse me, dressing gown.
Mm-hmm. So Brian's fixed now?
Looks like
Evidently.
Bryan, any thoughts?
What'd you do, Bryan?
on this?
What'd you change?
Yeah.
I just shut my computer down. So it clearly needed some updates that were
sound
doing because
beautiful.
Yeah.
when I restarted it, it said, "I'm going to do updates now and take 20 minutes of your life that you can't get back."
I'm so glad we got you in here, Bryan, because I know you got.
We didn't get into Halloween yet, neither. So,
Yeah.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've done 3 categories, and it was 2.
We did the
them,
worst
so.
scene, which is bullshit because that's the easy one.
Yeah.
Worst scene, right? Fill me in. Just quickly recap.
Worst
Sartain.
scene, the Sartain mask one, where he puts the mask on.
Agreed.
Okay. And now
Best
Brian's going to take it
was
away
the
with
first.
best cinematography.
Oh, there is a God. This is so perfect.
Oh no, we're not up.
Oh,
We're
my
not up to
God.
cinematography yet. Hold on.
The hell we aren't. No.
The hell we are.
He's quick while he has a good connection. Quick.
No, I got a feeling that he's good for the long haul. He sounds
I hope
great.
so.
Find out.
I hope so because just everybody step aside for the cinematography category.
Oh, we're going to get some good ones.
Bryan, do you want to take Netflix horror? Do you have Killer Flicks pulled up in the categories?
I don't.
Don't
Look,
make the computer multitask.
if you guys have everything pulled up, just roll with what you were doing, and I'll chip in on the
Okay.
Commentary.
conversation. Yeah.
Yes, that's good enough.
Okay. Cecil, do you want to take Netflix horror?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
So best Netflix, excuse me, best Netflix horror movie.
One man.
Nominee number 1, Bird Box. Oh, excuse me. Number 2, The Ritual. Yes. Number 3, Cam. Number 4, The Apostle. And number 5, The Open House. And
I
the
saw
winner.
2 of those.
The winner and incorrect choice for Killer Flicks is Bird Box.
Oh
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. I did love The Ritual. Even though I did vote for Bird Box, I think I was caught up in the hype. But I started thinking about that today.
You?
Like, what if? Yeah, right. I'm the hype machine. But what if A Quiet Place didn't come out? Would Bird Box be as successful? What do you think, Bryan?
No, because
It
it was
was-
called The Happening. Sorry, go ahead.
I do think the comparisons to A Quiet Place is going to be its downfall if it has one, because it's like it's the easy criticism to make. When it's absolutely no fault of the movie at all.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
The structure is a really big fault of the movie, in my opinion.
What do you not like about
don't
the
know.
structure?
Because it starts off showing you that Sandra Bullock is getting into a boat and going down a river with 2 kids and no one else. And then it immediately shows you Sandra Bullock pregnant and a number of people. And to me, that said, oh, so we're aiming towards Sandra Bullock by herself going down a river. So all of these people are inconsequential and are going to go away at some point. And that, to me, just took all of the tension out of the movie entirely. It was just a waiting game.
I wouldn't say it was inconsequential at all. I think all the experiences that she had with all those characters is what turns her from this person that doesn't want any kids and basically is just miserable with life to this protector that's
Her
going to
character had a good arc. Yeah.
It's no one else's story. It's her story. And yeah.
I didn't feel the arc when she was that way the whole movie, because we did see her that way the whole movie.
No, when she's in the hospital, when she's with her sister, she's basically dreading the whole idea of having
No, I know,
kids.
but we've already seen her grow to the point where she is getting into the boat with the kids and everything.
She basically gives him a, you say something, I think she says, I'll hurt you. She literally says, I'll hurt you or something.
Every interaction she has with the kids up until the point where she decides that actually, no, none of them are going to look. Every interaction she has up until that point can be seen as maybe not the best parenting technique, maybe someone who doesn't quite love these children as much as a parent should, because she's being way too harsh on them.
Well, I would counter that.
The opening.
I would counter that and say the fact that she was harsh on them is what saved their lives. Like, I think if she would have been, very gentle with them and very compassionate, they might have let their guard down, but because these kids had a little bit of shock treatment, I guess you could say, for lack of a better phrase, they were kind of afraid of her. So I think that's what saved their lives.
But again, going to the structure, you guys. So you're telling me that her remembering these things is why she changed halfway through the movie on the river? So she was ready to sacrifice the girl, or at least that's what we were to believe. And then, then we see the memory of the thing that changes her mind, and she decides not to sacrifice the girl. Like,
she's hardened.
Again, but she was hardened before she got in the river. So there's not really any growth on the river as much as they're trying to lead you to believe that there is. I don't know. Again, it's just, this was the problem I had with the movie, that there was no investment because I felt like I'd already seen where she was going.
Yeah,
but
I think it's hard to make rational choices when you're on the river, though, because you have to be blindfolded the whole time. So you got that you got to worry about the whole time, and then you got to make the decision: do I want to kill this kid or this kid? Because I need one of them to look. And ultimately she makes the choice: nobody's going to look. We're just going to weather this storm and see what happens. So I think she just had a lot of moving parts up against her at the end, and she did the best she could.
When you're living in a van down by the river.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For me, it was always that the main thing is that one of these children is her own flesh and blood. One of them isn't.
Yes.
It's essentially an adopted child. Now, if they were both her flesh and blood, I would have the same problems as you, Cecil. But because one of them wasn't, there's always that thing in the back of your mind, especially as a parent myself, which is this thing that actually, when it comes to the crunch and you're going to have to make a choice and maybe sacrifice someone, are you going to keep your own flesh and blood and get rid of the one who wasn't? So up until that point, there was always, and we're seeing all this stuff. We're seeing how much of a hard ass she's been. So all that feeds into this tension of, actually, crap, is she going to do a Sophie's Choice here and actually make one of these kids?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was kind of scared that she was actually going to pick one of the kids. I was like,
absolutely,
that's absolutely a fair point, and it's possible that I'm influenced by the fact that I have no kids, so I probably look at the movie different than you guys, although CP has no excuse.
Yeah, no, I'm just the maturity of a kid, maybe that.
CP would choose himself. Throw both the kids out.
Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
I actually thought for sure that's what she was going to do, was look herself. But
well, talking a little bit about the other nominees, I did vote for Bird Box. That was actually one of my favorite horror films of the year, not just a Netflix horror film. So I was a fan of that one. But the Apostle, I didn't see. The Open House, I hated. But between The Ritual and Cam, these are two movies that I just watched last week, and I really, really liked both of them, but they both made the same mistake, and they both fucked the ending up for me. The Ritual kind of abandoned some of its lore, and like all of a sudden I'm not going to spoil the ending, but there's this rule that just kind of comes out of nowhere that's convenient for the main character. And then Cam doesn't even really have an ending. Cam just kind of wraps itself up and goes on, and I was like, I'd like 1% of explanation for something, but yeah, those are both great movies until you get to the resolution. And a lot of people have an issue with the Bird Box ending, but at least it resolves the story. It's just not in the traditional horror sense. It's kind of a neat little bow.
Right, Cam plays straight, but by the third act, there's like this sci-fi angle to it, where it's just like, wait a minute, you got to explain what's going on here, because you can't just try to
explain it.
Yeah, it's like,
you got to be like Nick Burns to figure out the the computer guy.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that it sucked. Just tell me what the fuck, how'd that happen? That's all. That's all I want to know.
Give me 2%. Give me something. I love an ambiguous ending, just like the next guy, but I mean, you got to freaking give me something there. So
if the ritual had ended better for me, I know some people probably like the ending. If it had ended better for me, it would have been a really hard choice, because the ritual is basically anything that I have ever wanted out of a Blair Witch movie and never got.
That's a good analogy. I mean, because Blair Witch, everything you got was like in the last 5 minutes, whereas the Ritual, man, that was a full meal of a movie. There's a lot going on.
Some of the best cinematography too, where they keep transitioning scenes from the woods to that fucking store.
They had the balls to show the creature too, because I thought they were going to do an "it comes at night" type thing and make it all and everything. But
amazing creature design as well.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I haven't seen it. Blah 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 blah.
So basically, what we're saying is, because Bird Box won, don't discount The Ritual. That's
Yeah,
basically
The
what we're
Ritual
trying
was
to
great.
say.
It was.
Indeed.
But for me, The Ritual was actually a 2017 film because it rarely happens, but with it being a British horror film, we actually got it in 2017. So.
See, that's why I'm going back to Europe. See.
Well, this next category is about to get heated. Best ending. Cody, can you read those off for me, please, good sir?
Motherfucker, this is going to be fun. All right, let me see. Let me see where we're at. Best ending.
I can't believe the ratio. Whew.
Oh my god, I know. All right, I'll start off by saying I completely disagree. But so, category best ending to a horror film in 2018, and our nominees are Halloween 2018, Summer of '84, Hereditary, A Quiet Place, Suspiria, Annihilation, and Overlord. And Suspiria is the only film on this list that I did not see. And I think they all have very good endings, with the exception of the one that won, which is Halloween 2018.
Also known as Halloween 2,
margin
1981.
was 141, and the second place was 62, being Summer of '84.
Yeah. Oh my god. And my pick was Summer of '84. So I'll let you guys say your piece on Halloween, and then whenever we get to talking about the things that lost, I have words.
Well, I think I've said something about Halloween 2, 1981, so you guys can take my time up.
I'll jump in and say I have no idea how people can think that not seeing anything happening to your antagonist is a satisfying ending, let alone the best one of the year. Fuck off. Pardon my French. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
What did I vote, Cody?
The funny thing is that I think Halloween has a polarizing enough ending that it could have been on best ending and worst ending.
I was thinking that too, actually, and
it might actually be. Is it on worst ending? Let me see. I need to scroll. I think it might be.
I think I
yeah,
voted
it
on
is. It is.
It is on. Oh man! So that right there tells you how polarizing it is.
And
you
it
either
came in
love it
second
or
place. Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah.
Nothing I love more than not seeing how the antagonist is defeated.
If I may jump in though, I will say
this
is a slasher movie, and in the Halloween franchise, I think there are a few ambiguous endings. The first one being a perfect example where Michael Myers, he's gone, and then that's the end of the movie. So this one, not just the very last scene, but everything leading up to it, how Myers got to the house. There was the big showdown between the grandmother, the mother, and the daughter. I was really riveted.
He doesn't disappear in somebody's front yard though. He's locked in a basement with fucking flames all over the place. There's no ambiguity to it.
Yeah. There's nowhere for him to go.
Right.
He'll get out. I guarantee you, he'll find a way out. I mean,
gee, really? You think? But,
I'm just saying.
The point is, they left no window for us, the audience, to see that too. Like this was just a bullshit lie.
They did the same thing they did with H2O. H2O had a great ending because they chopped his head off. But what did they do in Resurrection? They found a way for him to come back. And I think the audience, when they watch these movies, they know that hey, don't put so much stock in the ending because they're going to come back eventually.
They didn't find a way for him to come back. They had to plan it that way because Mustafa Akkad wouldn't let him die. They literally wouldn't. He wouldn't let them film the ending of H2O where they hacked off his head unless they agreed to let him come back in Resurrection. So
do you know how much house payments are?
And you can't fault H2O for what Resurrection did. That's like if this movie had a great ending, but then the sequel fucked it up, so then all of a sudden it's not. But the issue that I have with the Halloween ending, which I've said ad nauseum, so I'll keep it short, is that it feels like the whole story arc, the thing that we've been building up to, the thing that we've been promised for 2 years leading up to this movie, this final confrontation between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers is not the final confrontation, because there is no fucking way that they're going to follow up this movie and not have her come back, or it's going to make zero sense. Yeah. So you have, obviously everybody knows Michael's coming back, so there's no point in even bullshitting with that.
Yeah.
And then you have all three of the Strode women get away scot-free. And to me, the ending, if you would have just had one of them, preferably probably Laurie Strode to have the most punch, and I don't even think it would have taken away from her victory at the end. If she had, I picture the ending of whenever Judy Greer, she's the last one getting out of the basement, and Michael's grabbing at her, and all of a sudden, fucking Andy Matichak is slicing with a knife, and, Laurie Strode's getting into it. If Laurie Strode would have just jumped onto Michael to keep his ass down there and told her daughter and her granddaughter to fucking do it, and they would have had to lock her in, and it would have been this sacrificial moment, huge ballsy ending. And even if this was the last Halloween movie in this new timeline, if this was it, they're just going to give us one great one and then reboot it or whatever, it would have been fucking awesome. And just that one little change there, yeah, just like CP said, that one little change there, I could have forgiven a lot more of what I did not forgive in that movie, because that ending gave me the biggest blue balls that I've had in years.
That's
even better. Throw
2
Judy
ending.
Greer down there to do it.
Because Loomis
one
did
of them,
that.
One of them.
Loomis gave his life to save Laurie in Halloween 2. That's pretty much what he did in the second movie.
Yeah. So
5 times.
Yeah.
But I will say that, like, I voted for Summer of '84, and I will say this: if you have not seen Summer of '84, if you're watching and you are planning on watching it, please mute this, because I don't want to ruin it for you. But that was one of my favorite horror films and films of the year, period, and it's because of that whole third act. Like, it's a pretty. I still think the movie's very good in the first 2 acts, but it's definitely familiar territory. But you get to what they decide to do in that third act, and have it to where this guy, Mr. Mackey, is not only survived, he's left, and that's supposed to be the ending. It just seems like it's going to end there. He got away, and he comes back, and he's hiding in the fucking attic. He takes these 2 kids out to his little death trap zone out in the woods somewhere, and kills one of the kids, which you never see happen in a slasher movie ever, is kids getting killed like that, except for Halloween 2018. I know, don't even go there. But but yeah, slices the kid's throat right there on camera, done. And you're like, holy fuck, he just killed that kid. And then you got the main character who's left. That whole speech that he gives while he's holding his head right here about, you just fucked up my entire life. You couldn't just leave it alone. One day I'm going to come back for you. You're not going to know when. You're not going to know where. You're going to have to look over your shoulder the rest of your fucking life. And one day I will be there. Like, that whole ending shook me. Totally gave me chills. Things that you never see movies like this do. To me, that was the clear winner for best ending. But
It was a solid ending. Yeah, I definitely agree. That was a solid ass.
100% agree.
Yeah. CP, any thoughts?
Yeah, I like that you like ambiguity, but didn't say anything about the Annihilation ending, because that was pretty ambiguous.
Yeah,
Pretty
Rainbow
powerful.
S&M
I
for
love
the
the
win.
Annihilation ending, actually.
Not enough, apparently.
Hey, I'm sorry. I loved Halloween 2018. Nothing you guys ever say is going to change that. I'll go to my grave with it.
That's
Sorry.
fine.
I watched it the third
We don't
time
need
and
to
I loved
say
it even
anything to
more.
change it. Don't need to say anything to change it, because in 5 years' time you'll do your 5th, 6th watch.
Peace. I'm out.
Yeah, no, I would have said Annihilation. That was pretty powerful. Although a lot of people wouldn't consider that Cody wouldn't consider that a horror anyway. But that was powerful stuff.
Got a great horror
I
film.
went with Annihilation. Because for me, what the ending to Annihilation did, it was an ending that suited the rest of the film, which was intelligent. It was an ending that was a payoff to the themes of the film. And I think if you don't get what those themes are, then you don't get the ending. It comes out of nowhere. But if you get what's going on in the film, I think the ending, it could only end that way, is the answer, really, for me. Because the whole film is about the sins of mankind and how we're so self-destructive that unless we change from every level, maybe a cellular level, if we don't transcend, then the only possible outcome for humanity is destruction. So having this ending in which they have changed, we don't know to what extent they've changed, but we know they are no longer who they were, and that's either a hopeful thing for humanity because they're going to transcend into something else, or it's an even more depressing thing for humanity because they're going to transcend into something else. The
opening scene is the cell and how it splits. That was never mind. I'll let Bryan do the smart talking. Never mind.
Pretty colors.
Yeah. Oh, gorgeous. Audio is really good.
Do you want me to read the next category?
If it's either Bryan or I, yes.
Okay. Next one is worst ending. So the candidates are Truth or Dare, Halloween, Slender Man, Hereditary, and Annihilation. Now I have talked to some people that like hated the ending to Annihilation, so I don't know. I'm not one of those people, by the way, so don't start throwing pickles at me. But
that's an appropriate response.
I love the ending of Annihilation. So the winner, though, by a long shot, actually was Truth or Dare. I'll let Cecil start with this one because I barely even remember the ending of Truth or Dare. I just hate that movie so much. So, yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't really remember. Oh, I guess the ending was, of course, that the game continues, right?
No. The ending is that she goes on her fucking live stream on YouTube and makes everybody who watches her channel a participant in the game so they can survive.
I like that ending. Honestly, for the premise of the movie, that's actually a good ending. I mean, it's the same thing Rings tried to do, but a bit more effectively. Rings, you're thrown into the movie and suddenly it's digital. But
so she's like spreading the virus pretty much.
I like that. Again, I think that makes sense. I think that's something that it's an appropriate horror ending to. I'm looking at the wrong place because I moved my camera. It's an appropriate horror ending. Whereas, if they tried to do something else, it would be a little too happy or a little not. This is like, oh, okay. The only way to get out of this is to spread it to literally as many people as I can. And that was the same for Rings. And I thought it was disturbing in Ring, and I thought it was disturbing here too. So I definitely think Halloween was weaker for me. We're in best ending, right? That's there, right?
Yeah, worst ending.
Oh, no, Halloween wasn't on there. Oh, yeah, okay. So, worst ending. Got it. Okay.
Halloween was number 2 for worst ending.
Yeah, I definitely would have put Halloween over that because it wasn't satisfying. Wasn't satisfying in the least, but Truth or Dare was at least satisfying for the movie that it was.
Yeah, my problem with Truth or Dare wasn't.
I actually liked.
Go ahead.
I liked Truth or Dare.
Thank you.
The whole thing?
Yes, I had fun with it. I will admit that the whole thing with the faces got quite old quite fast. But as far as the concept goes, as far as the way it was set up, the way it was paid off, I do think that ending was actually pretty decent. I liked it. I think it's a solid 3 out of 5 for me.
Right, I think your internet's taking a shit because you're saying weird things.
Well, what got me was when he said the words payoff, and that was the big thing that I hated about Truth or Dare. There was no payoff for me because the payoff's supposed to be the big scare of the movie. Every time there's a kill, we've talked about this already, but that face, that's supposed to be the payoff. Didn't get any of
this
that.
Coming from someone who thinks Halloween is the best horror film of the year.
Right? Exactly. Preach.
No, I went into this with absolutely no expectations because everybody just ripped it to shreds, and I went to the cinema. I watched 6 films in one day, and this was the last one of the day. So by that point, I should have been really flagging. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I had fun with it, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of the characters. I didn't get where people were coming from with the level of hate, especially when you got films like Slender Man in the same year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It was number 3 on my top 5 worst, but I said in the video, even when I was talking about Truth or Dare, I avoided a lot of shitty movies in 2018. So like my 5, 4, and 3 are all movies that I think are okay. You know what I mean? Only 2 of my 5 are movies that I genuinely didn't like. But Truth or Dare, it was, like you said, by the time that I saw it, which was like, maybe 2 months ago, it had already been dragged through the fucking coals for most of the year. Like, people are, worst movie ever made, worst movie of the past 2 years. And if that's true, if it is the worst movie I've ever seen, I commend you on your choice of films. But it's...
There was way worse this year.
It's a halfway decent, somewhat watered down horror film that you would expect from Blumhouse around that time of the year.
And I think you touch on an important point as well, which is what you need to consider when we talk about Halloween. And I'm guilty of this myself. Is that thing where actually I don't actively seek out films that I know to be crap because I've only just got around to watching Jeepers Creepers 3 because literally no one has said it was good. So I'm not going to go out of my way to watch a film like that. And there's a ton of films this year that I didn't see precisely for that reason, The Open House being one. So if I did a top five worst horror movies of the year, Truth or Dare would actually be on that list. And that's not through any fault of its own. It's through the fact that I do not actively seek out crappy horror films.
Yeah.
So, if I watched everything, I guarantee there's no chance in hell that Truth or Dare would be in that bottom 5. No chance.
I watched over 75 this year, and it wasn't.
It was my number 2.
That's why I didn't do a top 5 worst horror films video, because I didn't want to go down that route when actually some of those films I was entertained by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like my number 5 and my number 4 were First Purge and The Nun, which are movies I didn't necessarily like a whole lot, but they're not movies that I was mad or miserable through by any stretch of the imagination. So it was from my experience, it was a pretty decent year.
It's funny, Truth or Dare and even Slender Man to me didn't make my worst of, because again I watched over 75 movies, so I know at least of those which ones were really bad, and at the best I can say. Truth or Dare, Hellfest, fuck off CP, are at the very most aggressively mediocre. Just not the worst.
Is atrocious.
Hellfest is, but again, I think the set design saves it enough.
Fucking
the killer
set
sucks
design.
And the characters suck, but anyway, yeah, that's my point. I don't having seen Death House, having seen Tales from the Hood 2, having seen Jeepers Creepers 3, like I know what the worst movies of the year were, and it was not Truth or Dare.
You deserve a reward.
Before we move on, because I think we've covered the 2 top ones right here, but Bryan, you voted for a different one, did you not? Do you want to touch on that at all, or do you want to move on?
Which one was this?
For worst ending?
Worst ending, what did I vote for?
Hereditary.
Oh yes, yeah. For different reasons to what other people did. I thought Hereditary was one of the single best made horror films ever, to be honest, to be quite honest. But it's kind of like Requiem for a Dream in that you see these characters getting put through the ringer, then getting thrown off a cliff, then getting their head stamped on, then getting shoveled up and put in the back of a bin lorry, and then that's it. The bin lorry gets blown up, and it's like there's literally no hope. There's not an ounce of hope in that film, and I kept waiting for it. I kept waiting for this moment where there would be some kind of redemption for the son character, or just a way out for them somewhere. And a lot of people said, because I've said this before in other places, and a lot of people say, well, you don't need to do that. No, you don't need to do that, because Hereditary didn't. But you look at a film like The Conjuring, which was just as equally effective, I think, and that did it well in the sense that it put that hope in. And if obviously I come from it from a more spiritual place because of my faith, and I think if you're gonna show us all stuff about the devil, then I think you need to have the other side too, or at least have a ray of it, some element of it, to give you that sense of hope that actually there is a way out for these people, and there just isn't. So for me, when it all goes completely tits up at the end and you realize these characters aren't getting out, it kind of lost me, because I felt for them. That's the thing. I cared about these characters. The film did such a good job in making me care for these characters that to then put them through such a ringer, such an ordeal, and give them no way out, it lost me. And I know for a lot of people that's a win. That's they want that from a horror movie because it goes so extreme. I'm just not that kind of person. So from a purely subjective standpoint, that wasn't my ending. It's not the ending I wanted. It was dissatisfying.
As I was watching Hereditary, I kind of felt like I knew how this whole thing was going to end. Not exactly, but I knew it was going to end not well. And I think I was just along for that ride. And plus, I don't have a problem with grim endings in horror movies. Sometimes I even prefer them, depending on how the story's flowing. And for me, I loved Hereditary because I think of... Well, I mean, the ending was a little bit too on the nose with the Paimon and all that, but I still liked that it was like, wow, this is a really messed up family, and this is not going to end well. So, yeah, I enjoyed the ending, actually.
I understand Brian's point, but I think horror sometimes needs endings like this, where sometimes there is no hope, and that's the horror of the situation. Like, that's what's scary is, if you get mixed up with payment, chances are you and your loved ones ain't getting out of it. I do understand your point. I don't want to act like I don't by any stretch. A little bit of hope is a nice balance, but I think there are other horror movies that can balance out Hereditary. Do you know what I mean? I think Hereditary deserves its place for what it did.
I agree with you as well, and I think you touched on something that makes a point about the film, which is that actually, if I do want to come to it from a spiritual place, from a place of faith, then what this film is saying is that actually, this is a group of people who get caught up with the devil's plans and never once turn to God, and as a result of that, they pay the price. So in that respect, it does it's one of those kind of films that almost scares people in going to church. So, but I'm not of that mind. I don't want to scare people to go into church. So, But.
I think The Witch is even a better film because of the ending, because throughout this whole movie, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, she kind of wants to go to the light side, the hope of it all. And her parents are the ones that pretty much end up pushing her to ultimately, going to, I guess, be a witch at the end. And I think the ending of that was the perfect culmination of her parents' actions. I actually prefer The Witch over Hereditary. So
you guys should watch Salo for fucked up.
Fuck that. You can keep that.
That poop eating is all you, buddy.
Yeah. No, it doesn't end with poop eating.
Oh, Jesus.
It ends with, oh, cool, everybody's dead. Well, thank God they were tortured.
Well, they ate poop. They all got diphtheria.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Yeah, no,
I'm glad I
bad
skipped
movie.
that one.
Not a good time.
Yeah. So let's go to the next category. We got what are we on? Best director. Cody, do you want to read for best director?
Sure.
God, what did I say?
No, I'm just excited to hear where we're going with this.
It's going to be a long stream.
Yeah.
I'm going to be taking hit after hit after hit. It's going to be fun. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, best director for a horror film in 2018. So we have Alex Garland for Annihilation.
This is going to piss me off.
And just so you know, that was at the bottom too. Alex Garland for Annihilation. Luca Guadagnino for Suspiria. Panos Cosmatos for Mandy. Ari Aster for Hereditary, which I believe was his first film. David Gordon Green for Halloween. And John Krasinski for A Quiet Place.
Yo,
and
I'll let you have any of the other ones. Let me take one out and then pick. I get to take one out and then you have to pick.
Okay.
And it's the one that you take David Gordon Green out of there, and then let me hear what your choices are. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tell us what Killer Flick said.
Killer Flick said John Krasinski for A Quiet Place.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right.
No vote of confidence from CP.
Full apologies. Sorry.
Yes. So and it's by a pretty wide margin too. 117 people voted for John Krasinski, and only 68 voted for David Gordon Green.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's actually and 5 voted for Alex Garland, but that's irrelevant. Well, but yeah, so, John Krasinski was my vote as well. There's not really David Gordon Green. Yeah, I mean, I think he's done better movies, but there's everybody on this list is, at the exception of Suspiria, which I did not see. I could definitely see walking away with it because, I mean, Hereditary, for obvious reasons, especially for a first outing. Mandy, I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie overall, but visually, that movie was just a wild ride. Annihilation, I need to revisit it because really need to revisit it. But A Quiet Place for the winner, the reason I voted for it was just because of how much of an experience that movie was, like emotional. Basically a movie without dialogue almost, maybe 8 lines of dialogue. I really liked the creature designs. I thought it had some of the most tense scenes of the year, some of the best scares of the year. Really good characters and character interactions within the family. I have very little negative to say about what John Krasinski did, so I'm glad he won.
I would say it's a tough pick for me between either Mandy, Luca Guadagnino, or Luke for Suspiria, or Mandy, Panos Cosmatos, because both of them are very polarizing artistic types of films, but man, they are well directed, in different ways too. But I know Cody hasn't seen Suspiria. Cecil, have you seen Suspiria?
Yeah, I did, and I had never seen the original, so I went in blind, and I actually really liked it.
Oh, me too.
I really liked the new one a lot. Yeah, it really caught me off guard. I wasn't a big fan of Tilda Man Swinton. Her character wasn't that character wasn't super great, but the rest of the movie I really surprisingly dug, having never seen the original. So.
Yeah, the way a lot of those dance sequences were directed was insane. Like I'd never seen, directing like that on a film before. As far as the dance sequences go, just visually, just.
Hey, you want to go rent Chicago, please? Just.
What's that?
Just go rent Chicago.
Okay.
Great dance sequences in that movie.
No. I mean, have you seen Suspiria?
Of course I have.
Okay, I mean like unique dance sequences. You know, I'd never seen dance sequences like that before. It was just,
interpretive dance? Is that what you're referring to?
Let me better explain myself because sometimes I have trouble doing that.
Right. I'm with you, Lee. I'm with you on it.
Horrific dance sequences. That's like combining horror with dance. I felt uneasy when I was watching these dance sequences unfold. You know, that's what was so unique about it for me. And then Mandy is another. I think it's another beautifully directed film. Actually, sure, it's a slow burn, and gorgeous. Panos made the movie he wanted to make, and he didn't really give a fuck about anybody what they thought. He made
that's clear.
Yeah,
took the Rob Zombie approach, huh?
No, don't dare compare him to Rob Zombie. Not even a comparison.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How many motherfuckers were in that movie? There's nowhere near as many motherfuckers.
I mean, yeah, it's hard for me to pick which one of those two. I'd probably go with Panos. But
which one did you vote for, though, Lee?
I voted for Halloween, and I was wrong. I'll admit it.
Piece of vanilla toast. Why dare you?
Having said that, though, I still think David Gordon Green did a competent job directing that film.
No. Okay, Lee, listen to your words. A competent job. That's not glowing praise.
I said I was wrong, okay? I picked the wrong one, okay? I'm sorry.
It's not glowing praise.
that should be on the poster. You did a
competent job. Yeah, we haven't even talked about the scenes
competent job with this film.
Well, hold on.
Nominate him for all the Oscars.
I haven't even talked about what was so amazing about Halloween for me that even set it apart from the other movies in the franchise.
You said everything.
No, I haven't talked about the bathroom scene. I haven't talked about the beginning say something scene. I think all those scenes are amazingly directed, actually. Sent chills down my spine.
Before the Blu-rays are sent out.
I got emotions from the Halloween 2018 that I haven't gotten from any of the other sequels. Okay? To me, I have to give credit to the director for doing that. So, yeah, I mean, I picked the wrong one.
Competent job.
You have some goggles on, sweetheart.
I mean, give the screenwriter some credit. The director wouldn't have good scenes to direct without the screenwriter.
Absolutely. It's a collaborative effort. Sure.
Don't help.
No. Listen. Like, I think some people don't actually understand what the job of a director is, and I think that's clear by some of the voting in the Killer Flicks poll. To be honest, to me,
that's take it away, Bryan. Take it away.
I voted for Ari Aster. I think that if Jordan Peele can be nominated for Oscars for his first film, I think Ari Aster certainly deserves to be. I think his handling of that material, as much as I have problems with the ending, the way that film was directed was absolute perfection. He had such a handle on the material, on the actors, the performances he got from them, the way that he framed the shots, the way that he has the confidence, such confidence with a first film to linger on one shot for nearly 2 minutes, just so that we lurk in the frame. So we're looking for things in the frame, in the corners. I literally spent this one scene, if you probably know the one I'm talking about, where she's hanging on the ceiling. Right at the beginning of that scene, I could have sworn I saw something in that corner, and I spent the whole scene looking at that corner. And even though I was waiting for something, it still scared the crap out of me when it moved. And that is because the director knew exactly what he wanted and how to get it. and he got the precise reaction from the audience that he intended with every scene. Like, to me, that is what a director does. Now you can have issues with the script, but if they convey that script in such a way that they nail it like that to me is just perfect.
You're 100% right, Brian. And I had marked John Krasinski, but looking at it now, I changed it to Ari Aster, and specifically that shot you're talking about. Well, no, and I'll tell you why I did. But specifically that scene you're talking about, they don't even show her. He doesn't even show her move in that angle. It's the next angle where you see her scamper out, and then he cuts back, and she's not there anymore. Like, that is powerful directing. That's not using your camera angles to do jump scares. That's using it to build tension and throw your audience off. And the reason I initially put John Krasinski is, again, he's directing actors to have to do what movies are supposed to do, which is show, don't tell. So he's literally having to direct the actors, okay, this is what you have to do. We can't use exposition. We can't use dialogue the way movies normally need to do.
Yeah.
So here's what we need to do. Let me work with you. Let me see how we can do it to come off as genuine as possible. So I initially gave Krasinski points, but yeah, Ari Aster, for a first-time director, accomplished so damn much and is obviously so talented that I can't even think about what we're going to get in the future from such a talented person. So yeah, I did change it to Ari. It didn't matter. John would still win. And again, I think for the reasons I mentioned, that's good. But yeah, Ari just showed a level of talent that I just had never seen from a first-time director, and B, hadn't seen in years, period.
So wasn't that John Krasinski's first film too?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it was actually.
Crowd-pleasing film, and it had great acting without.
I think it was his first film, Cody. I think he directed a couple episodes of The Office.
I'll double check, because I think I called it his first film, and everybody, actually my ass. So let me double check.
All right.
So you're not a big fan of Kevin Smith, huh?
I love Kevin Smith. What are you talking about?
Well, he's all tell, don't show. I don't know.
But
I love him for different reasons. He's funny about telling. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You wanted an answer. I gave you an answer.
It fits right in.
Do we want to move on to best indie horror?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Who's up?
Can't possibly be Halloween.
Or did you do the last one?
Well, Cody's doing homework on Krasinski.
Yeah, he directed a couple things. They're not anything that we probably ever heard of, but he's got 2 other films before Quiet Place. Not that it matters. But.
David Gordon Green is the new John Carpenter. You are tripping, mate.
Oh, Dino's trolling. Dino's trolling.
That's
Dino. He's totally trolling. Don't worry. Right. He doesn't actually do
that. Jesus. Cecil, you want to take the next one?
Sure. We're a best indie?
Yeah, best indie horror.
All right. And this one I think Cody will get behind.
Absolutely.
So, best indie horror. Nominee number 1, Summer of '84. Number 2, Terrifier.
Look at Ryan's face. Look at Ryan's face.
CP's favorite. Mom and Dad. Victor Crowley. What? And The Domestics.
Bump in the road.
What was the last one?
The Domestics.
I never even heard of that one.
Kate Bosworth and Tyler.
Hey, familiarize
Holcomb.
yourself.
Yeah, he actually he's the new Superman on Supergirl and was also the lead Pack Wolf in the Teen Wolf TV series.
Oh, okay.
Still don't know who the fuck.
What's the winner?
The winner is Summer of '84.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I still think there's a couple of others that were better. Incident in a Ghostland was an indie movie that came out this year that I think was better. But of this list,
75 movies this year.
Don't make me drop a name, CP. Yeah, but of this list, definitely Summer of '84.
What I liked about Summer of '84 is I thought it was going to be pretty much beat for beat a Stranger Things movie version, and then and it starts off, I don't want to say light, but I guess by the numbers, and then eventually the movie just starts getting darker and darker, and then that last act. I did not see that ending coming. I mean, it got really dark and violent, actually. Yeah. So I completely agree with that pick.
Summer of '84 is my favorite horror film of this year.
Yeah.
Period. not even just indie film, just period. That movie, that's the only movie this year that just had that effect on me. I literally watched it 3 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I got really annoyed, borderline pissed off with a lot of people that were just basically discounting it as Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Like, anything that has a group of kids
80s.
now is a Stranger
80s.
Things. And 80s. But this is the thing that I always say, and I love Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But Stranger Things in and of itself is a ripoff of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes all the best
Super 8
parts.
did that first anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I hate that criticism. But you get into it, you get 4 kids that are all very charismatic, very entertaining in their own way. You got the one kid with all the mom jokes and everything. I think that Mr. Mackey is a phenomenal villain.
Yeah.
Because the movie doesn't necessarily hinge itself on the mystery of whether or not he's the killer or not. It hinges itself on what's going to happen when they find out. And the mystery that it keeps pulling on, and all these little red herrings that it keeps having is really effective. And then I've already said my piece in the 3rd act. I think it's the best 3rd act of the year by a landslide. So everything about that movie I just fucking loved. There's, aside from Victor Crowley, which I fucking hated, everything on this list is a movie that I enjoyed. I really like The Domestics. That was a movie I just caught like a couple weeks ago. Mom and Dad I really enjoyed. I know we all have our thoughts on Terrifier. I thought that it's an entertaining movie.
Ass.
But yeah, Summer of '84 is I'm glad that it won. I would have been heated if Summer of '84 got beat by any of those.
Yeah, I agree. CP, any thoughts on Summer of '84? Or
I think I picked Mom and Dad. I think I picked Mom and Dad, to be completely honest. I did.
You did.
And why did you think Mom and Dad should have won?
Oh.
Nick Cage.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, Nick Cage being Nick Cage. A little bit of a twist on a not really a zombie story. It felt like the whole movie was just like
It was like The Happening, only you don't kill yourself, you kill your kids.
Yeah, and it was turned up to 11. I like the style of it. It was a fun time.
Nick Cage had a pretty interesting year, actually. I mean, say what you want about the guy, but damn, he can act. Yeah.
I'll say this. I've said it before.
Act.
Nicolas Cage never stopped being awesome, and just his choices stopped being awesome. Yeah. Like around 2000.
Yeah. When he started owing money to the U.S. government, that's when
his bank account was
all right,
awesome.
buddy.
Bangkok Dangerous Forward is a little rough.
Bangkok Dangerous. Jesus, there's one I forgot about.
Yeah. But if anybody hasn't seen The Domestics, that actually was one of my honorable mentions for best of the year. It's basically a couple. It's post-apocalyptic America, and they have to get from point A to point B in the U.S. and they keep encountering like the Warriors style gangs that are like vicious, and it's kind of like the human side of The Walking Dead, but done in a good way. It goes in some dark, crazy places. I had a lot of fun with it.
I'll have to check that one out. I've never even heard of it.
Ditto.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty darn good. There's a big surprise with an actor most people like. He played the captain in Fringe.
Yes,
and a lot of stuff. He had a really great turn in this movie.
Oh yeah,
cool. Do we want to move on to the next one?
Bryan, did you have any thoughts?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, I chose Summer of '84 because the only other film I saw that was on that list was Terrifier.
Jesus. 2 totally different movies.
Yeah.
This one I'll give to CP. Terrifier is shit.
Yeah.
Nah.
You know what? For a horror fan that likes blood and guts, Terrifier does what it needs to do. And
if you like
Art
blood
is an
and
interesting
guts, it's
character.
a good movie.
I enjoyed it. I like Terrifier. I don't know.
Great antagonist, great gore.
Yeah.
It's half of what you need in horror.
Takes everything that you know about slashers and just says, well, go fuck that shit because fuck it. Isolation, who cares?
I actually like
it's a slasher. It's not enough in a slasher to just have gore. It's like it's a fine line that you've got to balance where you've got to make us still actually like the person who is the slasher on some weird ass level.
I did.
But I do.
Yeah.
Like art.
Then you're a twisted mofo.
Sometimes.
Because
No,
there is
not
nothing
necessarily.
about
You know,
at the clown.
let me just say, I find him interesting because there's that scene with him and the bag lady, and you don't know, like, you know, she's comforting him and everything, and you don't know how he's going to react, and you're thinking maybe he could have a soft side. No, he freaking cuts her chest off and wears it.
What did you say the
Her
first
chest
time?
and her privates. People forget that he does her privates too. I didn't realize that until CP David Howard Thornton told me himself. He cuts off her scalp, her chest, and her privates, and wears all of it.
He's a sadistic character.
I've seen Bone Tomahawk too. That was really cool.
That Bone Tomahawk didn't go this far. I was on board. And again,
I know you earned that shit. You were like, what the fuck?
Art is super interesting. He's a great antagonist. He's quiet. He's unnerving, and he's better than a lot of the horror movie slashers that we've gotten out there.
You know what?
Now you've got to just put him in a movie that actually has something remotely to say of any interest.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. It doesn't really have anything to say. It's just. It's a show.
I don't think every horror movie.
Does every movie have to have something to say?
I agree, Lee. That is one thing I agree with you on. I don't think every movie has to have a damn message.
Doesn't have to have something to say.
It does.
No,
it does. I'm sorry, but it does.
No, it doesn't.
You're talking about a narrative form. You're talking about the visual art of telling a story. If the story doesn't have something to tell, there is no story.
Slasher movies don't have to really tell a story.
Stories are meant to entertain. If you're entertained, the story did its job.
There is no story. That's the point.
There was no story. A clown killed people. That was enough of a story to entertain me.
No story.
My favorite subgenre is slasher movies. When I go into a slasher movie, I'm not looking for freaking Citizen Kane. I'm looking for a couple things. You know, I want to have hot chicks. I want to have kills. I want to have an interesting killer, and that's it.
Number one, hot chicks.
Laugh it up.
Are there chicks I want to bone? That's all I need to know.
I'm not alone. There's a whole market of people that love slasher movies so much.
Terrifier is the definition of love or hate, and nobody's changing any of our minds on where we're at with it. So
no.
I'll say something that'll piss everyone off. I think Art is more interesting than Michael Myers.
Get the fuck out of here. All right, next.
Right.
More interesting to me.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, it's totally fine.
Man, no, it's not.
What?
I mean,
what makes Michael Myers interesting when you take away the familial thing anyway? He's a masked slasher. That's about 10 more
categories.
That's true.
I'll tell you what's interesting about Myers. He's a 6-year-old kid who killed his sister for no fucking reason whatsoever, and then 15 years later he escapes from a mental institution, and he just goes on a killing spree. He has this mask that's just completely terrifying to look at. There's just so many things I find completely interesting about Michael. Even in Halloween 2018, 40 years later, I'm 100% captivated by this character that's standing there in a courtyard, and you got this guy. As soon as he walks up to that line on the in the square, I literally started shaking. Like, what could Myers do? He's a blank slate, and you never know what he's going to do. That's what I find interesting about Myers.
The reason Michael Myers is interesting is because, and we get most of this through Loomis, is that we don't know what it is that makes him tick. And is there even any humanity left in him? And it raises questions about what the nature of evil is. Is it something that is a spiritual force? Or is it something that is a switch in someone's head that just gets turned on and off? Is it something that comes out of ourselves? It has all these kind of things that feed into that character. Whereas you look at someone like Art, we know what he is right off the bat. He's a sadistic asshole who just cuts people in half and stuff for no apparent reason, because we don't really get any kind of backstory with him. We don't get any kind of conversation about where that evil is coming from, about what motivates him. It's complete bollocks. So to say that he is better than Michael Myers is insane. Ludicrous.
Well, people saying that he deserves 11 movies, that's insanity.
We didn't really get that. I mean, we got Loomis's talking in the first one, but after one movie, we didn't really get. I don't know. That's just
you bring up a good point, Cecil, because I was going to say when Michael is great, he's awesome, but unfortunately, there are some sequels in there where he's not. He's kind of a joke, like Resurrection. You watch Resurrection and you're like, oh my God, what are they doing to this character?
Careful, Tony's going to hang himself if he's watching.
But then even all of us can admit that have major problems with Halloween Resurrection, the one thing that they got right was Myers. I mean, you gotta agree with me on that.
Oh, I agree,
Thank you.
but just the fact that they got Myers, I mean, it's not hard to get Myers right. It's a dude in a mask not saying anything, killing people.
No. That's the problem. That is the problem right there, and that's why the sequels turned to shit, because they didn't understand the concept that John Carpenter did in the first one, which is that no, he isn't just a guy slashing people up in a mask. You have to deal with themes. You have to have something in there. You have to have meat on its bones that creates discussion. So when you've got just a little, what many people might see as a throwaway line, such as when he stole the car, and Loomis says, "Yeah, how did he know how to do that?" You know, it plants that seed of, well, actually, what is directing him? How does he know how to drive the car? Is there a spiritual force at work here, or is it just pure humanity that is evil? So it raises those questions just through dialogue, through character, and things like that, which we don't get with someone like Art the Clown, and we don't get, admittedly, in a lot of the Halloween sequels, because they weren't directed by someone who has the class of John Carpenter. They were directed by hacks for the most part.
I guess the easiest way to break it down, just to shorten my point, is Art has personality. Michael Myers might as well be a wall chasing people.
Well, that all comes down to preference. That's why you have people like me that love Freddy and Chucky before they love Michael. But
exactly, same thing.
But I would never say that Michael Myers is not as interesting as Art. Art hasn't had the chance yet. I will give the fairness there to even come into that conversation. But like what Bryan was saying, what makes Michael Myers interesting is you have to have that balance of supernatural and human. You have to have that question: what is he? How much human? How much supernatural is he? He moves like the wind, but he also moves like a human. He shows up here, he shows up there. That's even just the final shot of the original Halloween, where he's gone and all you hear is his breathing, and all the shots of the entire house, because he's everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. And that's what, but previous to seeing Halloween 2018, that's what I was most excited about getting back to, was that original intent of the character. Because to me, as much as I get enjoyment from some of the Halloween sequels, that is Michael Myers to me, is the 1978 Michael Myers. Everything else is kind of a carbon somewhat copy.
If Art deserves a franchise, then so does Buffalo Bill. That is all I have to say.
I'd watch a Buffalo Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking A.
Would you? Buffalo Bill's awesome.
Would you?
Would you?
Would you?
Next category.
So what Halloween category do you have next?
Okay, let's go. Best cinematography.
Oh, Bryan.
Oh, my God.
There we go.
Bryan, has your blood temperature gone down yet? Because it's about to spike.
So at the moment, I just keep seeing this heartbreaker who's in the chat who constantly keeps on banging on about themes don't make them good or bad. Just like graphics in a video game don't make them good or bad. I'm sorry, but yes, they do. It's like
that's a horrible comparison.
It's a terrible comparison. That's an absolute BS comparison. If you got a director who comes to, here's the difference, right? If you get someone like Paul W.S. Anderson, who makes a film like Event Horizon, and I know people are going to disagree with me here, he's a man who's clearly shown throughout the rest of his body of work that he ain't someone who's much of a deep thinker. He doesn't pull themes out of the scripts and delve into them. He's all about the gloss, the surface gloss. He's all about making music videos. I don't think he understands the deeper stuff that lies underneath. If you take a director like, say, Alex Garland and give him something like Event Horizon, then he makes something like Sunshine, which actually has something to say, which actually has characters I can give a toss about and understand on a deeper level. Because why? Because he's got themes within the work that he's pulling out, that he's playing with, that he's working on all the time, that he's coming back to, that he realizes that actually that's what this film is about. That's what makes it tick. That's what makes it interesting. If you don't have themes, and if you don't have a director who understands that a film should have themes, then you ain't got jack shit.
Best cinematography. The candidates are Halloween, Mandy, Hereditary, Annihilation, and Suspiria. The winner is Halloween. And I disagree with this one. How anybody could pick Halloween over Mandy, and is
Anything
beyond
else?
me. Because Mandy, I mean, there's a couple like Mandy, Hereditary, Annihilation. I guess all of them are actually better than Halloween, which happens to be my favorite movie of the year. But in the cinematography category, I got to put all these other movies above it just because they're amazing looking.
But that tracking shot to the garage, holy shit, cinema.
I don't know. Are you talking to me? I agree with you,
I'm just defending Halloween.
I'll say this. I'm one of the few people out there that didn't even like Mandy all that much, but that was an easy vote for me. As soon as it was on there, bam. That entire movie is visual storytelling. That is cinematography.
Yeah.
101. Halloween has good cinematography.
It does.
Good cinematography, especially in comparison to the rest of the franchise for the most part.
I'd say competent, yeah.
But yeah, competent cinematography.
But Mandy could be studied in film school. That's how good it is.
Yeah, Halloween
Absolutely.
is bringing a fucking butter knife to a gunfight in this one. So I don't.
Yeah.
This is the one category where it's clearly a popularity sweep. And
The one?
No, I'm saying this is the one where it's clearly. This is the only category where it's like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm telling you, should have had them list the DP as well. If you can list the DP, then your vote counts.
Yeah.
But it won anyway. But yeah, it's 149 votes for Halloween, and the closest one was Mandy with 127.
They were neck and neck for a while there. Mandy was actually in the lead too for a little bit.
They were. Mandy was ahead, and then Halloween slowly just kind of got that juice. But
Crazy.
yeah, even The Ritual. I think The Ritual had phenomenal cinematography. That had one fucking vote.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the Ritual. Yeah, especially that last act. Wow, amazing cinematography. So, yeah, I don't know what else we could say about that one. I mean,
So
to
Bryan,
me,
why is Halloween the best as far as cinematography is concerned?
Thank you, God.
I tried.
Well, moving on.
Moving on.
Oh,
I don't need to go into it, do
Yeah,
I?
I mean, we're not
You've
going to whip
said
this
it.
freaking dead
Well,
horse. Come on.
just schooled us on
Yeah.
themes. I wanted to.
Okay. Do we
Go
want to
ahead.
say best and worst movie for the last two? I think we'll do that.
Might as well.
Okay.
Halloween and
So the next one we're gonna go best villain. Cecil, you want to read that one?
Certainly.
Best killer villain.
Wait, what? Oh my god. Sorry, I just looked at the answer. Best killer villain. Okay, I was looking at the wrong category. That's why I was thrown off. All right, so number one is, of course,
Mr. Crowley?
Michael Myers from Halloween 2018. Number two is Mr. Mackey from Summer of '84. Number three is Jack from the house that Jack built. Number four was the creatures from A Quiet Place. Number five was Waffner from Overlord. Thank you. The next one was Payman from Hereditary. And then Jeremiah, the dancing dick boy from Mandy. And the entity who was from Bird Box, which is... So we're voting for air now, apparently.
Hey, it had one vote.
Someone really likes oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's beautiful. Look at it; it's beautiful.
Who is the winner, Cecil?
The winner is Michael Myers from
By a long shot,
Surprise
actually.
of all surprises.
everybody's surprised, but everybody fucking voted for Michael Myers. I don't see Cecil's face. Oh, yeah, you voted for
224.
Creatures.
I voted for the creatures, buddy.
Okay. All right, sorry. My bad.
This was the one selection from the films in which Halloween was nominated for, where it was an easy vote for me.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
To me, I think I'm the only one that voted for Mr. Mackey, and it was very hard because yes, Michael Myers to me is easily the best part of Halloween 2018. I don't think they really fucked up anything about Myers in that movie. It was the best Myers since '78, and I've said numerous times that if James Jude Courtney gets another chance, he might overtake Nick Castle for me as the best Myers we've ever had. So very hard. The reason I chose Mr. Mackey was just because of that ending speech when he's holding the main character's kid and just how sinister he gets in that third act, and you realize how fucked up this guy really is and how scary he really is. And he's the only villain that actually emotionally kind of shook me with what he did and what he said. Like, Michael Myers is awesome, but I wasn't shaken by anything that Michael Myers did. But Mr. Mackey had that effect on me. We know, but he had that effect on me. That's the reason why that's the reason why I gave the vote to Mr. Mackey. I knew it was going to be a wash. I knew it wasn't even going to be worth voting for anything that wasn't Michael Myers. But to me, he's the one villain on this list that really, really affected me.
Cecil, if Art was on this list, would you vote for him?
Art would absolutely have at least gotten second. Would have whooped Mr. Mackey. I can't believe Art didn't make this list. No, I would have voted him over Michael Myers for sure.
You would have voted him in that bracket there?
Oh, of course, 100%.
You're nuts.
Again, Michael Myers is a walking wall. Like, there's no personality to Michael, in my opinion. So, what can I say?
All right, fair enough.
That's my fault. I think I did those nominations.
Themes aside, he's a walking wall.
Oh boy, here we go. You guys poking the bear.
For me, it was about a couple scenes. It was the say something scene, obviously, when he's just standing there, but the one that really got me was the bathroom scene, when Myers comes in and you see Aaron and Dana, and then Aaron comes in to try to save Dana, and from that point on, everybody had these concerns about Myers being like 60 years old. As soon as he walked in that bathroom, wasn't a concern at all. He felt like a force, and he didn't even have his mask on yet. For me, that scene, like Cody for Mr. Mackey, that scene is the one that really, it almost scared me when I was in the theater, because I'd never seen a kill scene in a Halloween movie like that, that was so visceral and so emotional. And just seeing Aaron's face, he's already beaten, his head is slammed against the wall, and he's got to sit there and just listen to his significant other get, choked to death, and I thought that the way that scene was directed was flawless, and it's one of my favorite kill scenes out of the whole franchise, actually. So yeah, I mean, that's why I picked Myers. I mean, if this was a Myers that wasn't a good Myers, I probably wouldn't have picked it, but yeah.
Am I wrong in associating the way the way Myers ran around and killed people with a later franchise Jason? I mean, we've never seen Michael Myers that powerful, right? He's never been that.
Yeah, he's been
fierce.
Pretty powerful. He's crushing
in Curse, he was pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even in 4, he's tearing out people's throats and shit that.
You're right.
He shoves the shotgun through the chick. I mean, he might even be less powerful in this movie than some of them, with the exception of that head stomp.
Even in the original Halloween 2, he stabs the nurse from behind and then picks her up.
Yeah.
I was.
I mean, there's definitely a supernatural.
I was projecting my own shit on it. Never mind.
Hey guys, Friday the 13th.
Anyone else have any thoughts before we move on
about Halloween 2018? No, there's plenty of time to talk about that.
I do like that. If you want to talk about Michael Myers as a villain, I do like the aspect of him that he is tied to that mask in some way. That it's.
Oh yeah,
because he kills those two to get the mask, doesn't he? He follows them from the grave to get that mask, and it's just this it's this idea that's like,
well, it not to cut you off, the mask is almost synonymous with the character. It's almost just as important. If you fuck up the mask, you're fucking up Michael. So it's kind of like they finally just admitted it. Like, yes, the mask is important. Sorry, Halloween 4.
It's like painting a wall the wrong color.
What was that, Cecil?
I said it's like painting a wall the wrong color.
But the wall analogy really ain't working for you, mate.
It's not working for you. It's working fine for me.
Okay. We want to go worst villain. Cody, you want to read the nominees for that one?
Absolutely. Let me see where it's at here. Worst villain. Okay, right above it. All right, so worst killer/villain for a horror film in 2018, and your nominees are Sartain from Halloween 2018, Slenderman from Slenderman, The Intruder from Open House, Skeletor from The First Purge, and Killer from Hellfest. I don't remember what they called him. It had a weird name for him, but the Killer from Hellfest. So, by a gigantic margin, the winner for worst killer/villain is Dr. Sartain from Halloween 2018.
I don't think
I reckon if you'd have put Art the Clown in there, he would have got just as many votes as best.
I don't know about that, Bryan.
I don't know
Disagree.
about that. Yeah, I think.
I'm sorry, but when I dropped all that crap on Killer Flicks a couple of months back about Art the Clown and about Terrifier, everybody like that post was just divided 50-50 from people who loved it and people who hated it.
That's what I'm saying. It's a love or hate movie. Yeah. Absolutely. There's not a whole lot of middle ground on it.
But I heard a lot of people that even hated the movie said they liked the clown. There was a lot of people that said they didn't like the movie, but they liked Art.
That is true. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Even when I didn't like it the first time, Art was like the best part to me.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me it took a second watch?
It took a second watch. Am I the only one here that's ever liked a movie more the second time? I mean,
you're the only one here that's
not about
violence. It's the consistent liking
more. Should we go around the room?
Dude, you swing like a fucking what is this thing? Well, I've lost the word.
Pendulum, I think is
pendulum.
What you're going for.
Pendulum, sure.
It's not this. This is
what is this?
Machine. This is doggy paddle.
I'm having a stroke. Somebody help me.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm vocal about it when I swing. But I think I swing a very small percentage. But I don't tell everybody about the movie that I watch a second time that I have no, like Slender Man. If I watch Slender Man a second time, I'm not going to care about it at all. I've watched other movies.
Not tell anybody about the first time.
No, but I've watched other movies a second time, and more times than not, I have the same feeling about it. But sometimes my mind changes. And usually when it does change, I'll talk about it. And like with Terrifier, I felt the need to review it again when I But mostly, I don't know.
We give you shit because of two things. One, it's because it was very frequent in 2018 when it happened, and two is because it's not that like I kind of liked it and then I really liked it. It's this movie's dog shit, and then the very next review, wow, I saw all these things I didn't see before.
Hold on, let me explain myself on that one. Let me explain myself. You were talking about Black Panther, okay? Here's what happened. No. Let me explain myself. When I first watched Black Panther,
you went two days
and the Last Jedi was the opposite.
Okay, all right, never mind.
We love you.
Never mind. I'm not going to dig a hole deeper.
You see, I just keep digging.
This might surprise people, though. I actually voted for Slender Man. I didn't vote for Sartain as much as I dislike what they did with him because there's at least interesting aspects to Sartain. There's an interesting idea behind them. It's more so the execution and what they decided to do with him that kind of fucked it up. To me, Slender Man was garbage beginning to end.
That's what I voted for, too, Slender Man. I found Sartain interesting, whereas Slender Man was just like nothing to me. So.
Well, he was barely in it, though. How can you vote for him when he's barely in it?
Who, Sartain?
No, Slender Man.
That's why he was a crap villain.
Yeah,
well, okay, that's fair. Well, that's what I'm asking.
Right
that's what I'm asking. Well, that's okay. That's fair. That's what I'm asking now. I mean, outside of Slender Man sucks. Why? I want to know why you feel he sucks. I think he sucks because they made him tree Slender Man, and I don't remember Slender Man being half tree. But outside of that, I'm curious as to why you didn't like it.
There was nothing, not one time in that movie that jumped out at me and said, "Ooh, that's creepy. That's scary as hell." And Slender Man as a character should be kind of creepy, but he just looked like a CGI mess to me. I don't know. He just was just there. The story was shit, and it's my worst of the year actually. The whole movie.
Well, the movie, yeah, but you can't fault the villain for the story.
No, you can't. But the villain was just almost non-existent to me in that movie. So
I get you. I get you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Cody, I picked Hellfest, right?
You did?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We lost Cody.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, he's back.
For whatever reason, Skype stuttered and then it just shut down.
Did you hear what I said?
Nope. I didn't hear anything after I started talking about Slender Man. From there on was fucked. So I don't even know if.
I'm sorry.
I don't even know if what I said came through when I was talking about Slender Man.
Well, the Badass Ninja says Slender Man is great and he doesn't get the hate. But then earlier he said that A Quiet Place was the worst film he'd ever seen.
Wow.
Like that,
Well, that follows then.
Well then.
I want to say that I voted for
you
Hellfest.
voted for. You did.
Yeah. That was a movie where it was just it ended and I got up and was like, well, there's 90 minutes.
I didn't understand. I see a lot of praise for the ending, like the last little reveal with the masks, and to me that had no impact on me. I watched it. I was like, okay. Everyone's like, that ending was cool. I'm like, What part?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought
look,
they were
there's a
talking
kid on
about
the
the family part. Yeah, I thought that's what they were referring to
Well,
specifically.
the masks and the whole thing, the whole final little scene to me, I was just like, okay. Obviously, the dude has family members.
It's like, oh, he's got a kid. Ooh, why is that scary? We've seen that
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just like,
think
oh,
Holly
all
Klein
right.
just kind of summed up why Slender Man wasn't, because she said she's never seen Slender Man, but the true story of the girls who stabbed another girl happened in her area. And
Yeah, and
I
they
think
closed
if they
the
would have
movie
told that story, it could have
Probably couldn't.
They did in the HBO movie that came out earlier in the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw that, but yeah. But what the movie they came up with was just garbage. So
Yeah.
I agree.
Bitch day.
yeah, garbage day. Let's pick this party back up. Okay, you want to go to the next one?
Sure.
Okay. Best score. Ooh. Okay. Here we go. I guess I'll read this one. Let me see. Let me see where we are. Villain.
So we're going to 4 instead of 5. Scariest scene. Okay.
Oh, did we? Did I skip?
We've been bouncing around the whole time.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there's a couple that we've missed so far. So just wondering.
Yeah.
Let me.
Look
at my screen.
We posted them kind of randomly, so there's not really any method to the madness.
Yeah, I'm just going by what's on the screen here on the.
We've
on
technically
YouTube.
missed scariest scene and best kill so far.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
I'm actually going by the actual stream because I have them at the bottom middle. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we'll get there. So best score is next. I'm gonna pull that up right now.
Those aren't
Dino.
changing on the
Dino
bottom,
drops
Lee, just so you know.
What's that?
Shut your fucking
bottom,
mouth. We're getting
it's
money
still-
right now.
It still says best newcomer to best worst actor. It's not changing as we go, just so you know.
Thank you, Dino. Drops $2 in. He says, "Love this, guys. Having fun with your banter."
Oh,
Thank you, Dino.
banter, Jesus, that's putting it lightly.
That's a polite word.
Yeah, Dino is so polite. Thank you, Dino.
Sorry, go ahead. Ramble on. Cecil.
Raking,
What
I
kind
think
of shit
raking
you
is
were
a
on
better word for it.
I wasn't rambling on.
Okay, and the nominees are John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies for Halloween, Tom York for Suspiria, Johan Johansson for Mandy, rest in peace, Jeff Barrow and Ben Salisbury for Annihilation, and Marco Beltrami for A Quiet Place. And the winner by a landslide is John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies for Halloween. Yeah, I mean, I'll start. I think it earned it. I think this is Carpenter's best score since the first movie. There was a lot of interesting additions to the whole soundtrack. You had that the tried and true Halloween theme, but then it branches off into some emotional areas here and there. And I think that has a lot to do with, Cody Carpenter, his son, and Daniel Davies bringing in some fresh ideas. And I've listened to that. I have it on vinyl, and I've listened to that soundtrack so many times, actually. And it's a good listen. So aside from the movie. So, yeah. Cecil, any thoughts?
Cecil's
He actually
dead.
walked away for a second.
Okay. Cody?
Yeah, I voted for Halloween. I didn't see Suspiria. I don't remember the score in Annihilation because I haven't seen it in so long. And A Quiet Place, I didn't remember the score for that either. So Mandy was the one that I'd heard a pretty strong argument from CP, but I think my enjoyment of the film kind of deafened me to it a little bit. The visuals were impossible to ignore, but the Halloween score, I mean, obviously it's a classic score. It's the fucking Halloween score. It's probably the most recognizable horror score that there is. But all the new elements was the reason why I voted for it. Like the Shape Chases Allison. The Shape Chases Allison is a really good one. It had a nice little vibe where it kind of has that 80s throwback synth vibe to it, but it also mixes in the Halloween elements. So that was the only score where I remembered a lot about it, and I really enjoyed it. So
I love the musical piece that they're playing at the very end when you see Myers burning too. Not talking about the scene, but I'm just saying the score that they used over that scene I thought was very moving, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't see Myers burning.
Oh, yeah, you don't see Myers burning because he's going to be in the next movie. Okay. Cecil, any thoughts?
I actually agreed that this is one of the few things that really stood out in Halloween 2018 for me. It was a fantastic throwback, and it felt like, not only did it feel like Carpenter doing it, it felt like Carpenter sort of elevating himself and sort of being like, oh, you guys thought the shit that It Follows brought back into the zeitgeist is cool. Here, let me show you how it actually is done. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I was really on board for the score of this one, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose Lee?
Lee?
Oh, I'm
Lee?
back. I had to let my dog in.
Oh, okay. We can never tell because we never see you. It's like,
I know, my little guy.
Lee.
Oh, so are we moving on to the next one?
Well,
We certainly can.
CP, why don't
Yeah,
CP, why don't you give us your
Mandy,
piece?
for the things you guys are talking about with that synth shit. Hey, here, how about something completely original that you don't recognize? Mixing synth with a little bit of guitar, or like a little bit of a heavy metal sound. Like,
Yeah.
I think the fact that the movie itself is so out there, I think people don't give the score credit for being just a little peculiar as well. It for the same reasons, that whole fucking 80s synth surge. This takes place in the 80s, so hey, maybe that makes more sense for a synth sound to be in this film. But the one thing that stuck with me about Mandy, other than the incredible visuals, was the score. The score was absolutely incredible. That was my vote, with Annihilation at second. But
Yeah, I mean, all these candidates had great scores actually, and I loved the one for Mandy.
I've not seen Mandy, but I did vote for Halloween because it was one of the two things that stood out for me in Halloween. Well, there was a few things that stood out to me actually in Halloween. I don't want to appear that I hate it because I don't. I do think it looked nice.
It's
I
a
do
bitch
think
not to, I promise you that.
Michael Myers was the best he's been since the first film. And
3.4.
the score just like, as soon as I watched the film, the one thing I wanted to do once I got out of that film was go and download the score and listen to it. And for me, what makes a truly great score is one that works within the context of the film, but that you can listen to as well, just on its own terms as an album. I always use Drive as the prime example of where that doesn't happen, where I watch Drive and I feel like the score is amazing, and I bought the score to it.
That's a great, yeah, definitely.
Listening to it on its own terms, just as an album, it ain't good. It's dull as nuts. It's a really dull score, but for whatever reason, when you're watching it within the context of the film, as it's going to the images, it works. Whereas Halloween, and this is what I look for mostly in a score, is one, it works within the body of the film, but it also works just listening to it on its own, without those images, without the visuals, and it works on both those levels. So great job.
Why is there a scourge in Crow talk in the chat?
They're talking about scores. The Crow, the Graham Revell score of The Crow is one of my favorite scores ever.
Also 25 years old, but all right. Interesting.
It's got an outstanding soundtrack too.
Oh,
it sure does. Yeah, it sure. I love that soundtrack. It's still on my freaking iPod. So.
Okay.
All right.
I would just be interested in knowing how many people who say that a particular film has a great score, how many of those people actually listen to that score just on its own as an album.
Very few. Very few.
Yeah.
5 to 10% at most.
I think like movie fanatics like us are the ones that do that, but just like casual moviegoers usually don't buy scores.
Yeah, I saw Beth S. name Johan Johansson.
Yeah.
So there's one.
Yeah.
If you know the name of the composer, that's probably a good start.
Yeah.
I actually love movie scores so much that's all I put on when I'm trying to write or edit or anything like that, because it's not distracting with words. Yep. And if you put on the right score, my God, like if I'm writing, a horror movie or a horror short or whatever, putting on, Let the Right One In or 1 Hour Photo or something like that is just so awesome. I love a good horror score.
Yeah, actually, when I'm getting ready to record, a review, the first thing I do is I come in here and I throw a vinyl on the record player and I just kind of get in the zone for 10, 20 minutes and then I sit down and record. And the one thing I like to listen to is scores. So yeah, I love them. Moving on.
Cody needs a wrench, by the way.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, Cody doesn't have a wrench in the old chest.
It's all good. It's all
Sorry.
good.
I didn't mean to
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the last, right, Cody?
That's right.
There you go. Scariest scene. I will read this one, I guess. Actually, I read the last one, so we'll go. Cody, you want to read Scariest Scene?
Absolutely. Let me see where it's at. I need to scroll up. Scariest scene in a horror film in 2018. Nominees are the restroom scene from Halloween 2018, the school freakout scene from Hereditary, the bear mutation from Annihilation, the bathtub scene for A Quiet Place, and the pool scene from Strangers Pray at Night.
Ooh.
And oddly enough, it won Best Scene, but did not win the Scariest Scene, which is the pool scene. But the restroom scene from Halloween 2018 was the winner by quite a large margin.
Well, I think
over
that is
100
a scarier scene than the pool scene. The pool scene's a
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, the pool scene's not scary. So,
Yeah, it's not
yeah.
scary. It's not. Yeah. It's just a really cool, well put together scene.
I don't know. I don't know how the bear scene in Annihilation didn't win this by a landslide.
Preach.
That's a
That
great scene,
scene
yeah.
was so unnerving, and to hear the screams of your dead friend come out of this massive, faceless bear creature as
Did
it's
you guys notice
baring
that?
its teeth.
Did you notice that there was a skull on the side of the bear's? Like there was bear's skull, but then there was like a human skull on the fucking side too. I didn't notice that till I watched it again the second time. I was like, oh, that's gnarly.
That's
As soon as we end this fucking stream, I'm rewatching Annihilation.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I've only seen it once,
That's all I'm
too,
gonna
and I need to
fucking
watch
say.
it again.
everything except for the rainbow S&M guy at the end is great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the restroom scene. It didn't affect me on the way that it affected Lee. I thought it was good though. Every time I rewatch it, that scene is still good. I wish it wasn't in the trailer. That's probably one of the reasons why. But I voted for the bathtub scene, which I also voted for best scene, for both exactly the same reasons. It was the best and the scariest scene to me. But it was the second to last, so not a lot of people agreed. But the restroom scene, if I had to vote scariest scene, at least in that movie, that's certainly probably the winner, at least as far as I can remember.
Yeah, and I think scares are kind of like laughs, they're subjective, and I think certain people get scared by things that others don't. And, I think maybe that kind of comes into play here.
The life of the party scared me.
What's that?
I said life of the party scared me. Sorry.
I can't believe the beheading didn't make the list. That was my scariest scene of the entire movie.
That's not in the list?
No.
What?
That scene didn't scare me, though.
Yeah, well, whether it's scary or shocking, I equated
the moments afterwards were pretty.
Yeah, the fact
it's
he doesn't even check and he just quietly drives home and lays in the bed waiting for his mom to find the mess.
It's shocking, but it's not scary.
Shocking equated to scary in that instance to me.
Yeah, the scariest scene for me out of Hereditary and out of the whole year that wasn't even on the list was the possession scene of the mother at the end.
Yeah. It was in best scene.
That's a creepy scene.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
Be careful.
Sorry, guys.
Be careful, you son of a bitch.
Be careful. Okay. You guys want to go to the next one?
Sure.
Okay. Cecil, you want to do best actor?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Let me find it. Okay. It goes from 4 to 1 on my list that I've got right here. Outstanding. Hang on. Let me scroll back up and find it. Worst scene. I see actress. I could do that.
Actor should be very close.
It should be there.
It goes from 3 to 16 when I'm scrolling here. 17, 3, 16.
Let me see if I
So
can
let me
find it.
keep going.
It's right. It's the second one that from the bottom for me.
Okay, let me see.
That was the second thing that Lee posted.
Okay, got it right here.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Best actor, right? All right. For best actor, we have John Krasinski from A Quiet Place, Alex Wolff from Hereditary, Nicolas Cage from Mandy, Wyatt Russell from Overlord, Trevante Rhodes from Bird Box, and Jovan Adepo. from I'm up with the Spanish pronunciation from Overlord. And the winner is John Krasinski from A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
And I actually, while Nicolas Cage did get very Nicolas Cagey in Mandy, I think he got just as Nicolas Cagey in Mom and Dad. And I actually enjoyed Krasinski's role a bit more. He made me feel, he made me cry, he made me happy. I just dug Krasinski, the way he presented himself in this role.
You know,
Absolutely.
you actually brought up something pretty interesting because I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, the direction and the cinematography and all that in Mandy kind of propped up Nicolas Cage's performance. Even though it was still an amazing performance, and I think that's the one I voted for. But yeah, I guess if, it was still Nicolas Cagey, so I guess you're on to something there, Cecil.
If it wasn't for the fact that some of the directions they took Alex Wolff's character annoyed me so much with how much they kind of devolve him into a child when he's saying mommy and everything like that. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have voted for him because he was damn good. But I voted for Krasinski too because a lot of the things that we were saying about Sandra Bullock and kind of the emotions she has to bring forward, John Krasinski had to bring forward anger, sadness, worry, heartbreak, sacrifice, all this different stuff without uttering a word. He gets like one scene of dialogue in the whole movie at the river. So that's conveying all of those emotions and making me feel all those emotions without even being able to speak is pretty fucking incredible. So that was an easy vote for me.
Yeah, especially that last act. Oof, that was good stuff. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil it. I guess I'll go best actress. So let me pull up best actress.
This was the easiest choice for me.
Oh yeah,
And thank goodness it went the way it did.
yeah. Let me see.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Is that a soft J or a hard J? Yeah.
Jaime Lee Curtis.
Jaime Lee Curtis. Let's see. Hold on. Where's it at?
I voted for Jamie Lee just because of True Lies.
It's if you're on the same as me,
Oh, there it
Lee,
is.
it's
I got
basically all the way at the top almost.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so we got Toni Collette, Jaime Lee Curtis, Emily Blunt, Sandra Bullock, and Dakota Johnson. And the winner is deservingly Toni Collette.
Damn straight.
But you know what? The top three actually had some pretty solid competition there between Toni Collette, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Emily Blunt.
You know, Toni Collette should be considered for Oscars.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
If she doesn't get an Oscar nod, I will be shocked.
Oh well,
Dude,
shocked.
I'm just saying this.
She won't get an Oscar nom because it's a horror film.
Yeah, it's horror, dude.
Jesus.
It doesn't. We'll see.
That's a
I'm holding out hope. I know the Get Out is the joke, but we also had The Shape of Water last year win, which is technically horror. So I'm holding out hope.
Yeah, but
it wasn't.
Shape of Water had a lot of things that really kind of touched the SJW crowd. Didn't
Oh
it?
no, I totally agree. I'm holding out hope. But I did say too when I talked about Hereditary in one of my videos recently that if she doesn't get a nomination, then the Oscars can go fuck themselves because Daniel Kaluuya gets nominated, but Toni Collette doesn't. Come on.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis should not have even come close.
Nope.
To what Emily Blunt and Toni Collette's performances.
That's the fanboy effect.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I will agree with that. And I think she still did a decent job, but I don't think she comes close.
Yeah.
She was better in H2O than she was in this one. Sorry.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Nope.
Nope.
There you go. There you get Lee to swing back.
They were both good performances, but I prefer this one. I think really because of that the scene when she's in the car during the prison transfer and she's screaming. That was a really good scene. Very, very well acted.
Pick a scene where Toni Collette's losing her shit.
Oh no, I'm not even putting her in the same ballpark as Toni Collette. Okay.
There's like 2 or 3 moments when I was watching Hereditary where I was like, she's going a little too far, and then like 5 seconds later, I'm like, no, this is probably completely accurate. Right, right.
Yeah, she's good. We forgot to do worst actor, and then we'll do worst actress. Cecil, do you want to do worst actor?
Sure.
Okay.
Allow me to find it. Thank you. Thank you. A little Jeopardy music to lighten the mood.
What's that from?
I really hate Facebook.
Ian says the only difference, Daniel Kaluuya got a SAG nomination, which helps with the Oscar nominations.
Oh, Ian's very knowledgeable about the whole award season system and all
Toni
that.
Collette did not get a SAG nomination, which doesn't sound great for the Oscars.
He's probably right, too, unfortunately.
Guillermo del Toro has never made a horror film.
Bullshit. What? That's kind of how he made his bones, but okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Devil's Backbone, horror film. Pan's Labyrinth, horror film.
Pan's Labyrinth has some really
I'm not seeing a worst actor or
The
a worst
Orphanage
actress.
also, right? Am I mistaken that? The Orphanage?
He stuck his name on that, but he didn't direct it.
Okay,
Let me do
gotcha.
a Control F and see what I come up with. Worst. Oh my God, I don't think I have it on here.
Oh.
I don't think we did nominations for worst, so I stand corrected.
Okay, I was wondering.
Art the Clown. Let's hear it for Art, huh?
How fucking dare you?
Okay, you know what? We're strapped for time anyway, so we'll keep pressing forward then. So we've done actor and actress. Now we are down to the big categories: best and worst movie. Let's start with worst movie.
Did we do best kill? Best kill.
Oh yeah.
Or best kiss.
No, we did best kiss.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do best kill. Cecil, you want to do best kill?
Certainly. That I know I've got. Let me just get to it right here. Alrighty. Best kill. First off, we have... sorry, I've just always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I've done it 7 times now.
Yes, exactly. It's fun for me every time, fucker. So I'm going to go
we are.
reverse on this one. The first one is the pool table kill from Truth or Dare. We have the soldier experiment from Overlord. We have the knife through the neck from Halloween. We have the decapitation from Hereditary. Quality. We have the split down the middle or the splitting headache from Terrifier. And then we have the human jack-o'-lantern head from Halloween, which is actually from the Halloween comic book that came out 10 years ago. But anyway.
Oh, nerd face.
So it's an adaptation.
It wasn't the same person.
Had that motherfucker in the holster.
It's from the same franchise. Why not?
I know, I'm just saying. But the winner, of course, is inappropriately, I do think, well, no, I don't think it's the best kill. I think it's the best after kill, and that is the human jack-o'-lantern head from Halloween.
Do we have a problem with
I
after
voted for that
kills,
one.
or do we need to see every single kill that's on screen? I mean, it's a legitimate question.
Most of the kills in that movie are after kills. That's part of that's part of what I liked about it, is seeing the aftermath. It kind of makes you go, ooh, like you don't need to see everything. I voted for the human jack-o'-lantern head because that was the one that was the coolest to me. Like, I was like, oh shit. Just when you start to think about it, like he decapitated the guy and he sat there and hollowed out his skull and did all this meticulous shit. Yeah.
That's what disturbed me was picturing that. Yeah, picturing him reaching in and getting everything out.
Yeah, so just that everything kind of entailed with that, and the fact that they chose not to show it and it didn't go the Eli Roth route, it was. I chose that one.
Yeah.
So, bravo.
Bryan, what are you doing in the chat there? What are you?
I'm sorry, but this guy does not know what he's talking about.
Which guy?
Dominant persona. I mean, with a name like that, come on. Just like Pan's Labyrinth, fantasy drama, Hellboy, action fantasy. Sorry, but Guillermo del Toro's whole shtick, his whole ethos, the way he makes films, is completely a descendant of Universal horror movies, of Hammer horror movies, of all the old classic horror movies upon which horror of the modern day is built upon. Like, you go suck an egg. Sorry.
Well, Ian actually brings up Kronos too, which is a horror film.
Yeah, this comes from that mentality of people who were raised on a diet of 80s slasher films and can't see anything past that because they don't actually know where the history of horror in cinema lies.
Yeah.
Man, it's so much fun being a spectator of a Bryan rant and not having to tangle with him.
Yeah, not being on the other end of the fucking
Yeah,
gun.
yeah.
No, I haven't learned. I had to learn my lesson this stream on that one.
Yeah, you're
Lindsay hasn't
learning it. He's our secret weapon.
Any hoozle.
Okay, so that was best kill, right? So
Yes,
next
indeed.
we're
So
gonna
now
go
we got-
to what do we got next?
Best and worst movie.
Best and worst movie. So let's start with worst movie. I'll do the worst, and I'll let Cody do the best. Fair enough. Okay, so let me see. I think it's at the top. Let me see.
It's towards the top. Yeah, it's right above best kill and right below best cinematography for me.
Okay.
Wedding. What's happening?
Let's see. It's Netflix. Okay, so hold on. Let me find it.
They're talking
Actress,
about Muriel's
scene,
wedding in the
best
chat. I
scene,
don't understand what life is.
best
Talking about what?
Muriel's wedding. Oh, Tony Collette. I get it.
Ah,
Okay, here we go. Worst horror film. We got Slender Man, Truth or Dare, The First Purge, Insidious, The Last Key, and Hellfest. The winner is, by a long shot, Slender Man. Anybody disagree with that?
Yes.
I think I picked Hellfest.
Go ahead, Cecil.
from those five.
Oh yeah. No, from those 5, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody
I won't-
think
I
Halloween
won't
2018
belabor
is the
this
worst movie
anymore.
of the year?
No.
Okay.
No.
Was Terrifier on that list?
Here we go.
No, the
I think the
antagonist was too
compromise.
good.
I think the compromise was it wasn't on either list. It wasn't on either best or worst.
Okay,
No,
I had no choice but to vote for Slender Man because Terrifier wasn't on the list. So.
Mm-hmm.
No, none of these were the worst by any
Well,
stretch.
yeah, you have
of the
Insidious-
big budget releases, yes.
Because I've seen 75 films this year, I can tell you that there's at least 20 worse.
I'm sorry. When's the next installment of your top 100 coming out?
GFY!
Yeah, that's a lot of movies, isn't it, Cecil? 100 fucking movies? Jesus.
Oh yeah. But yeah, if you looked at the list, I mean, you got Insidious: The Last Key was just a mediocre Insidious movie. The First Purge, mediocre, slightly annoying Purge movie. Truth or Dare, not as bad as everybody says it was, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But just mediocre. Hellfest, mediocre slasher. Slender Man, painful. So it's
Yeah.
mediocre, bad.
Yeah. I agree.
I just didn't find Slender Man painful, but that's me.
Cecil, what was your least favorite movie of the year? Out of curiosity.
It was oh crap, now I'm gonna it was one of 3. It was either Tales from the Hood 2, because that was just god awful.
God.
Death House was really bad, and in my opinion, the worst movie of the year was Cynthia. A small movie that came out. It was a little creature movie that had Scout Taylor Compton, your favoritely.
No kidding. Wow.
And it's dog shit. It was basically Hell Baby meets Bad Milo, but done way worse. So yeah, Cynthia, Death House, and the other one.
Did you see Bad Apples, out of curiosity?
No, I did not see Bad Apples.
Man,
no.
that premise should have been amazing. The premise of these 2 girls that are they're like teenagers, and they go door to door on Halloween night, and the lights that are off, they're not giving out candy. They go in and they kill them. And I loved that premise, but the movie itself was just horrible because the characters were really stupid. And
Well, that's just basing a movie on the last line of The Strangers, right? Why did you do this to us? Because you were home.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, and they didn't do it. It wasn't produced nearly as well as The Strangers. So
So I was doing something in the chat. Did you say he's out there? Have you seen that?
no.
No, I did not watch He's Out There. No.
Okay.
Although I probably should have added, now that you remind me, Tonight She Comes. I think that was this year, and that was so.
That's my high school.
What a name
that
for a
was under my
movie.
name in the high school yearbook, buddy.
If that was this
Balls
year,
in
that
this
deserved it too, because that was terrible.
Hey.
Really? That's what you got?
My license. You got my license. Plate.
She never deserves to.
She never. Cody, best movie of the year, the big moment. Here we go.
All right, best horror movie of 2018. We have Suspiria, Mandy, A Quiet Place, Halloween 2018, Overlord, and Hereditary. And by a About 160 vote margin, Halloween 2018 walks away with the Killer Flicks Award for Best Horror Film of 2018. Second place was Hereditary with, let's see, Halloween got about 230 votes. Hereditary got just under 90 votes, and Quiet Place sitting around 60. The other ones were hardly any.
Before we explode and go crazy, let me just say something, okay? Because somebody posted this on Killer Flicks. He posted, how is any Halloween movie better than It Follows, Hereditary, Mandy? Let's just say he said that. And I think the thing you got to consider is this is like a People's Choice type award. In the Oscars, of course, Halloween wouldn't have won. Hold on.
This is the Blockbuster Awards. I love it.
Yeah, it was the People's Choice Award.
You cheapen the award.
Wait, let me finish. What I'm saying is the It Follows, which I freaking love, by the way. Hereditary, I love. Mandy, these are considered arguably polarizing films. There is an audience that just doesn't gravitate towards these films because they're polarizing. And then you have movies like Halloween that are they're gangbusters at the box office. People love these movies. They're crowd pleasers. So I think that's why Halloween got the vote. Does that mean it's a better movie than Hereditary? I mean, from a technical standpoint, probably not.
Don't you think we should be opening eyes up to stuff that perhaps these people have been, had blinders to?
No, absolutely. Yeah,
I can't tell me how many years.
I'm just going first. I'm going to let you guys go after me, but I'm just saying that I'm just trying to explain the logic of why somebody would put Halloween over, movies like Hereditary.
Because they don't watch movies.
Mm-hmm. And that's fine. You can say that, but I'm defending the mass audience, and I'm just saying some people. I've talked to people that said I hated Hereditary. I loved Hereditary, but I've talked to people that said they hated it. And same thing with It Follows. I mean, It Follows is one of the most divisive films I think I've ever seen. Like, Lindsay hates It Follows so much that she doesn't want to talk about it.
Terrible movie.
Yeah, exactly. So you just proved my point, Cecil. But then you have movies like Halloween where some people are in the middle. They might think it's okay. And then, Cody, 3.4. And if Cody doesn't like
till the day you die, your fucking tombstone's gonna say Cody Leach 3.4.
No, but would Cody Leach put Halloween above Mandy? That's what I'm saying. Mandy didn't.
I would.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. I don't. For me, from a technical standpoint, directing, score, all that stuff. Yeah, I think Hereditary is probably a better made movie. But I get it. That's all I'm saying.
Halloween was far and away the biggest, most popular movie this year. Like we did an award show very similar to this on my buddy Sean Chandler's channel when I was very new on YouTube. And that year when we did it, Civil War walked away with damn near every award. Yeah, it's like you saying, it's a People's Choice thing. It tends to automatically be a popularity thing. I knew it when I brought up the fucking idea. I knew that this, especially this one, Best Horror Movie, I knew that was going to be a wash. So I get it, but.
Yeah, exactly. Any final thoughts from you, Cecil?
On this choice? Yeah, no, there were a bunch of movies, at least 5 or 6 movies better than Halloween this year, in my opinion. Remember, I watched over 75, right, CP? No, but
almost
seriously, CP. Halloween was just another entry in the series to me. Hereditary really stood out as something new and different in the horror genre. I loved it. I thought A Quiet Place. I've been a big fan of just acting for a long time. And as silly as this might be to relate, I don't know if anyone's a comic book fan, but back in the early 2000s, I think Marvel Comics did something called Nuff Said, where every issue of Marvel Comics that month was completely dialogueless.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of seeing how the art could tell the story. And I loved seeing how just the acting and the pictures could tell the story in A Quiet Place. So, yeah. I mean, those two alone, between Hereditary and A Quiet Place, I had to put them well above Halloween. And then when you add things like Incident in a Ghost Land, which people haven't seen enough, a movie that was the #1 Japanese movie of the year, One Cut of the Dead, fantastic horror movie this year. It's just that not enough people saw the movies that really, really deserve the title. But of the ones that people saw, I don't think another entry in the Halloween franchise is going to surpass A Quiet Place or Hereditary.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I voted for A Quiet Place. That was my favorite of these. I've said enough about Halloween. I do like the movie, but I have a lot of issues with it. I think it's incredibly overrated right now, and I'm very curious to see how people think about it in 10 years or 20 years. The way that they have kind of abandoned
when the sequel comes out.
Yeah, the way they
As
kind of
am I,
abandoned
actually. I'm
H2O.
really curious to see what it sits in 10 years.
Yeah, but when I look over the list of movies, so obviously I have issues with Halloween. Hereditary, I haven't disagreed with a single thing that's been said about it tonight. With me, that's more about rewatchability. Hereditary is a very taxing movie, and there's also a lot of things in there. I feel like the movie purposefully leaves a lot of questions unanswered that should be, and there's some questions that they should have answered that create logic issues for me that gives me a little frustration. But Suspiria, I didn't get a chance to see. Mandy, totally appreciate what it was going for. Did not enjoy it. We'll probably never watch it again. Just not for me. Overlord, had a blast with it, but it's definitely one of those movies that I had a lot of fun with it. I have very little negative to say about it, but for whatever reason, it doesn't like blow me away. It wasn't one of those movies that I'm gonna like shout at the fucking hilltops.
Yeah.
But A Quiet Place, I just for everything that it accomplishes, telling a story without much dialogue. I really like the creature designs. It had some of the scariest, most tense scenes of the year. Had some of the best characters and character interactions and emotions and all of that. I had very little negative to say about A Quiet Place. The ending, the twist, I had a little bit of a logic issue with it when I saw it in the theaters. When I rewatched it, it bothered me a lot less. So that was really the only thing I walked away from the theater going, But that was my vote, was A Quiet Place.
Bryan?
Was Annihilation on the list?
It wasn't.
It wasn't?
It wasn't. All right, screw that list.
You voted.
Annihilation should absolutely have beaten Overlord onto the list.
I actually
that's
would put
crazy to me.
Annihilation above A Quiet Place and Hereditary. I agree with Bryan on that. So
I know a lot of people argue that it's not horror, but it's a sci-fi horror. It's
probably my fault because I think I did those nominations, and like I said, I have to rewatch Annihilation because I've been surprised the past 2 weeks how much that movie has come up in horror conversation. When, from my memory of the one time I watched it, I was like, that's totally a sci-fi movie with one scary scene.
Cody,
I need to rewatch it.
Do you consider something like Scanners horror?
I've never seen it.
Why would it not be?
The Fly? Oh no,
Fly?
I'm trying to get.
The Fly, absolutely.
Oh yeah, The Fly definitely.
It's just like if you look at the way Annihilation's set up, there's a sense of dread from the outset. About where they're going into the unknown. They know that no one's come out. They don't know what they're going to see when they get in there. Then when they do get in there, they're met with all this weird ass stuff. They're getting picked off one by one in pretty gruesome ways. And then we get that ending in which some crazy ass stuff happens. I get that people do think, sci-fi. It is obviously that, but it's definitely a sci-fi horror. For me, it was the best film of the year of any genre, but it ain't in this list, so I would have to go with A Quiet Place.
Fucking dominant persona, for fuck's sake. Sorry, I didn't mean to mention.
He's really pushing buttons. He's pushing my buttons now, Bryan.
Let's just move on. Yeah, but I think horror can definitely be psychological.
My advice to somebody who's watching this and wants to understand why we picked a bunch of things that weren't named Halloween is to, instead of watching a Halloween a third, fourth, fifth, 10th time, put in something that we nominated or talked about in a separate category and only focus on the thing that we talked about. If we were talking about cinematography, throw Mandy in and just keep an eye on the picture and try to understand why it is that we think that. Just explore certain horizons that you maybe wouldn't have prior to this little shindig. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Oscars and been like, I've never heard of this movie. Let me at least watch the trailer or something, and been won over. It happens once every 2 years or so. Where I'm like, never heard about this movie till today, and it's actually really good. Just give it a whirl, for fuck's sake.
Oh, absolutely. I love doing that.
That's all I have to say.
Like movies like Darling, a movie that I just kind of I don't even remember how I found that movie, but it was just this weird little black and white movie, and then I watched it and I was just like completely sucked into it. And it's a movie that would never go to the theater.
Yeah, Whiplash.
And I love discovering movies like that. So
I never heard of Whiplash, and then watched it after the Oscars. I
Oh
was like,
God,
oh
yeah,
my
that's
God, Whiplash is
incredible.
amazing.
that movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember what year it was, but that movie, I actually
2014.
learned about it. Yeah, this is before I was on YouTube because I've said things that would make this sound funny, but I actually found out about that movie from Jeremy Johns. I watched it and it was like his best of the year. I was like, what fucking movie is that? And I watched it, and I think that might have been my best movie of the year. And I didn't see it until like 2 months. I didn't see it until like 2 months into the new year. So
I still haven't seen it. All I know is to stay on tempo.
oh my God,
You haven't seen Whiplash?
No,
It's
I
a great-
haven't.
Jesus.
Holy crap, man!
I watched too many damn horror movies.
Yeah, 75.
See?
Stay on my
Well, you had
fucking time.
2014 was a good year because you had Whiplash and you had Nightcrawler and you had Drive. I think man, a lot of good ones that year.
I think Warrior too. Wasn't Warrior that year?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a freaking landmark.
It
year.
follows.
Yeah, It Follows. Yeah, it was 2014. No, It Follows was 2015 actually.
Was it?
Yep, it was.
Was it?
Because that was the year I started, and I reviewed that movie that year when it just came out. So yeah, yeah. I guess
You can watch Lee, Bryan, and I talk about It Follows over on Brian Lomax Movie Talk.
Yeah, that was kind of the start of this whole thing, really. I mean, if you trace it all the way back, we started talking about this stuff together, me, you, and Bryan, with It Follows. And then we started doing like these commentaries, and then Scream Stream kind of formed out of that. But yeah, it all started with It Follows.
Sure, if that's the math you want to use, sure.
I'll go with that math. Why not?
A plus B equals Q.
A plus B equals Q, 2 plus 4. That's backward.
Then I shoved my way in there.
Yeah. Cody came in. Yeah, it was great. So
It's much better now. It's much better.
It is.
Mostly because I don't have to do any of the work. I just turn.
You just pop in. But
and just yell at people.
Just pop in and trigger him. It's awesome.
Hey, I want to thank Cecil for I contacted Cecil literally 30 minutes before we went on, and he's like, hell yeah, man, let's do this. And thank you, Cecil. I appreciate it so much. And if you could tell the people a little bit about your channel that don't know about it.
Absolutely, I can. And it's funny, as soon as you messaged, I was like, he probably asked the other guys, and CP was like, Cecil's enough of a whore, he'll probably do it.
That's exactly
guessing
how it
those.
I said way worse.
He's a sure thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what came out. But basically, I'm part of something called the Horror Show channel. We currently do 2 episodes a day. That's going to be dropping down to about 1 a day and some extra stuff to our patrons in February. But we do anything and everything under the horror umbrella. Movie reviews, how-tos, comedy sketches, celebrity interviews, horror comic book reviews. I've been going through a bunch of branded ones, and I'm going to be reviewing the Stranger Things comic book that just finished on Wednesday, which was actually really cool because it told the entire story of what happened to Will when he was in the Upside Down in season 1.
Oh,
so,
nice.
a lot, anything and everything under the horror umbrella we do. Including crossing over with other awesome channels. Like I've interviewed Lee, I've interviewed Cody, I've interviewed CP. I'm boring Bryan, but I would like to interview Bryan at some point.
That would definitely be an interesting interview.
Yeah, I think it would actually, because I do have some faith-based opinions, as much as I might not have gotten them across in this particular episode.
Somebody should have interviewed Bryan about his faith-based opinions. That's really strange.
I do plan to reach out and hopefully we can arrange something. But thank you, Lee, very much for asking me to be a part of it. I've been watching the Scream stream and of course the Hallow streams for a while, so it's great to be a part of it. So thank you.
Yeah, and if you can,
I would just like to point out. My yawning is because it's 20 to 4 in the morning.
I know, but I know. I'm just messing.
But I was going to say, Cecil, if you want, post something in the comments there so that way they can go to your channel. One thing I love about your channel is you guys are like 100% dyed-in-the-wool horror. You do everything horror. And really, I love your personalities. I think there's, 4 of you, 5 of you?
Yeah, myself, Fuego, Marsha, and Susie are the core 4, as we call.
Yeah. And when you guys had me on, you made me feel at home, like, instantaneously. Very easy conversation. So, I'd say to my followers, definitely check out Cecil's channel. You will not be disappointed. A lot of content.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bryan, what do you got coming up?
two stinkers over this coming week. So on Monday, I'll be dropping my review for Candyman 3, Day of the Dead, a film that made me wish I was dead.
Glowing endorsement.
And then we've got Jeepers Creepers 3 coming in just a couple of days after that. So
rough week.
Oof. Jesus. Cody,
Sorry,
what do
bud.
you got?
Well, I have the rest of my list. So I dropped best and worst horror today. I already have top 10 worst of the year recorded. I'll get top 10 best, top 10 most disappointing, and then top 10 most anticipated of 2019 out. Hopefully by the end of Monday, maybe dipping into Tuesday. After that, aside from a lot of patron reviews that I'm going to be working on pretty much exclusively for the next couple of months until I get them all knocked out. Hopefully I'm not stepping on Bryan's toes by announcing this, but we've kind of agreed to tag team the M. Night Shyamalan trilogy leading up to Glass. So Bryan said he was doing it, and like the whore that I am, I jumped on his train. And I said, let me play. So yeah, I'm going to do Unbreakable and Split and try to catch up with Bryan because he's already got his ready and in the holster. And I believe he wants to do it, he said, the week before Glass comes out, right, Bryan?
yeah.
So, you'll see Unbreakable. You'll see a Glass. It'll be a Glass revisited for me because my opinion has changed on the movie a little bit.
Nice.
And then whenever we get to see Glass, so the Glass is pretty much the only like major release that I even think I'll be reviewing this month. So other than that, a lot of patron requests. I got Fright Night. I've got Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've got High Tension. A lot. I think I've got like 15 or 16 reviews that I need to get
High
through.
Tension. I might jump on board with you on that one.
That's a great movie.
I freaking love High Tension. Yeah.
Cody, you have another couple of reviews coming to pretty soon too.
Yes,
right?
yes. Thank you for the reminder. So me and Cecil also we're going to be doing the two Laid to Rest films, which I've never seen. So Laid to Rest and then Chrome Skull. Yeah. So also have those two. So I'm dipping into everybody's ink.
Beavis, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Beavis, $20.
Beavis is
Thank you.
awesome.
Great stream. Thank you.
Yeah,
Beavis
he's
PDX.
been with my channel for a couple years now, but really solid dude. I appreciate it, man. CP, what do you got coming up?
Speaking of collabs, who wants to help me do a Serbian film, guys?
I would, but I
that's
already did.
this
Sorry.
Episode of Scream Stream.
Good night.
So I finally rewatched it, started scripting. That I'm going to Denmark next week, so I'm hoping to have the Serbian film Who Would Like That done and another chunk of my list, which is a fucking chore. I don't know why it's such a chore this year, but I'm counting down every movie I've seen in 2018. So I'm doing 80 to 61 next. And if you want to watch me dignify the artistic merit of a Serbian film, there's that coming up within the next 2 weeks too.
I think there is
that
some.
to yourself,
Dude.
Why did
I
you
don't know.
choose-
Wait till
Like-
wait to see what I have to say about it too, because it's better than Salo, if that makes any sense.
It's not a bad movie.
No, it's shot well too. They have something to say, believe it or not. And,
They have a theme, Brian.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do that.
Well, that is important.
I'll go to Cliff Notes and see what they say for the themes for that.
Yeah. Whoa. But yeah, that's that.
Okay, I have I recorded like 4 videos over the last week, and I think I pretty much got the last one out today. I did The New Kids, which was a patron request. Movie I'd never heard of, directed by Sean Cunningham and starring James Spader and Eric Stoltz, and it was actually surprisingly really good. So I love when my patrons give me movies that I've never heard of, and I end up just freaking loving it. So that one was really interesting. One big thing that I'm going to start doing is I'm going to do the entire Star Wars run. I posted on Twitter, should I start with the prequel trilogy or should I start with the original trilogy? I had 244 votes, and it was split right down the middle, 50-50. Wow. I was like, you gotta be
Prequel
kidding.
trilogy.
So, no, here's what I'm going to do, though. I decided what I want to do is I want to do timeline. So I'm going to start with the prequel trilogy. I'm going to insert, and I'm going to re-review all of them, including Last Jedi, and I'm going to insert Rogue One and Solo in there. So a few of them I'm gonna be doing a second review on. And Last Jedi will definitely have a different opinion this time than it did the last time. So looking forward to jumping into that. And that's probably going to take me months and months to do. But I've been wanting to do Star Wars for years, but I've held off for some reason. And Star Wars is such an important saga in my life. And a lot of people don't know that. They think I just love horror, but I love Star Wars immensely. So I've just been waiting for the right time to finally do it, and now I'm gonna do it. I'm looking forward to it.
Before Episode 9 comes out. That's a better timing, no?
But yeah, I got
be a full-blown whore.
I got 8, 9, 10 movies to do before I get to episode 9.
He's going to do his Revisited when he gets to that.
Yeah. So
Bryan gets in there. I like it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He digs deep. Yeah. I love him, though. I love him. So yeah, but that's pretty much what I got on tap. And yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. This was pretty much almost like a 3-hour show, but this was a fun episode, and you knew it was going to be pretty top heavy with Halloween this year. I mean, Halloween was a juggernaut this year, like it or not. So I'm looking forward to doing this next year and seeing if the playing field is a little bit more even, which I think it will.
It chapter 2.
Yeah, never mind. So yeah, we can
Pet Sematary might still some of that
next year.
Well, Child's Play. We got a lot. We got a lot of them.
Yeah, we'll have some
see.
good contenders for next year, so it's going to be fun. But thank you guys for helping me out on this. I really appreciate it. And, yeah, you guys all have a great night. Toodles.
Today's edible panties flavor is blackberry.
Blackberry. Very good. Thank you.